fresh.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Hey, watch your head.
What sound experience would you like today?
I'll have the fantasy pack.
Good choice.
And could you make it a Cloud 2 wireless?
On his way, sir.
Sounds amazing!
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Ain't accepting, ignore, just kicking down all the doors. Guarantee you, boy, if I ask for it, it's gotta be real big. I gotta make it just for my kids and for their kids' kids. That's wealth years and years. Promise my brother soon as he out and finished his bid, we finna do it bigger than anybody ever did. The odds is real big, jobs that's real big. Satan trying a little, my God is real big. Stayed up on the grind on the cars is real big. I gotta do it big, the only way that I can live.
Hey man, I just can't find a comfortable headset. I mean, I've tried everything. Literally everything.
Sheesh, my brother. I got you.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
That is comfortable.
Y'all think too small, I got big dreams. You just starting, I'm way ahead at the end scenes. Started reading and dodging all of the quick schemes. Money like your Spotify, boy, I got 10 streams. And I'm still looking for more. My people, they got a soar, I'm putting that on the Lord. Ain't accepting, ignore, just kicking down all the doors. Guarantee you, boy, if I ask for it, it's gotta be real big. I gotta make it just for my kids and for their kids' kids. That's wealth years and years. Promise my brother soon as he out and finished his bid, we finna do it bigger than anybody ever did. The odds is real big, jobs that's real big. Satan trying a little, my God is real big. Stayed up on the grind on the cars is real big. I gotta do it big, the only way that I can live. And I promise I'm trying to. Before you count me out, homie, let me remind you. They was blocking the shine, now I think it's my time to. Counting them dollar signs like lights, they'll blind you. Let me rewind to back when I was broke and I couldn't acquire 2 cents. And now I got 2 rents. They was sleeping on me, homie, must have got too big. Call my phone, I be like, who this? Damn right, hell yeah, I'm brand new. Smell like can too. I'm fresh forever like canned food. Try and tell me what I can't do. I wanna see the world, my vision on Shamu. That mean I got goals that's real big, foes that's real big. Your offer too little, sorry, my soul is real big. Coming into the ring with blows that's real big. I gotta do it big, that's the only way I can live.
What will you like today? Another Cloud 2 classic?
I'll stick with the usual. Maybe take a little bit off the sides.
Oh, that's fresh.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Hey, watch your head.
What sound experience would you like today?
I'll have the fantasy pack.
Good choice.
And could you make it a Cloud 2 wireless?
On his way, sir.
Sounds amazing!
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
ain't accepting ignore, just kicking down all the doors. Guarantee you, boy, if I ask for it, it's gotta be real big.
Oh, I'm so sorry I didn't see you all there. I was just enjoying my nice Lenovo Legion Y25 monitor. It's going to be in my lap this whole time. My name is Ito, and I'm joined by Dan Dryad, and welcome to the ECAC Week 8. Again, brought to you by Lenovo Legion lovely Y25 monitor. Dryad, how you doing? We are in for a very interesting game, and immediately I want to get your thoughts before I go any further.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it should be a good match. We have Long Island and Johnson and Well going against each other, and they have pretty much the same score, right? It's a 3-4 that they have right now. One of the teams, of course, will make it even after today with that 4-4. And teams so far looking very close, just like you look so close to your monitor, which is great.
Just love them. I haven't had the chance to install it yet. I've just been enjoying its form, its figure, its slick shape. But yeah, no.
I'm glad.
It's great, yeah. I have that going for me, which is nice. No, but to go on what you're actually saying, though, this actually could be a pretty interesting match. We're talking like playoffs potential if you win this one out here. Both teams just barely at a negative win-loss record. Also, not to mention that in the past month of play, they're 2-2. They've been kind of split down the line. They've seen the highs, they've seen the lows, but this is, I'd say, inarguably their most important game of the season. It's gonna go ahead and see who's actually gonna go further in this tournament, or if they're gonna have to bow out now. We have Long Island University and Johnson and Wales University. I didn't want to mess that one up. So I guess initially heading into this, what's gonna be running through your mind? I mean, if you were in this sort of situation where it's do or die for a single best of three, do you bring out something spicy? I mean, or do you just bring your own game plan?
Right. I mean, the thing about it is that collegiate teams, they really love to bring new things every single time.
Yeah.
It's kind of insane. And it manages to work in many scenarios. Even if, right, we talk about it, it's 3-4 that both of the teams have right now. But even when we see those even score lines, the minute that we actually jump into the match, the playstyle can look a lot different. So more than anything, I feel like that is why it's also so rare to see those mirror matches coming up, because everyone is pretty much playing comfort picks, which is really nice, right? That's why they've gotten those wins. That's why they've gotten this far, and they are a potential to get to those playoffs.
Yeah, no, I think you're totally right on that, where collegiate in particular, like you said, you just have all the random picks coming through, not necessarily in a bad way as well. Yeah, it works out, and I feel if you're going to try to make one last-ditch effort to get to playoffs, you're going to want to go ahead and maybe try something that could throw anybody off guard. I mean, you also have to keep in mind the skill level of your opponents as well, how they've been matching up, what is their strength of schedule. Did they go up against teams that maybe didn't have a chance, of making playoffs, so maybe they got some wins that might be easier, were they up, like, there's lots of factors that can go into how this match will actually play out, but I think one of the big questions is, well, first off, the maps, which we actually have on hand right now, but also how that kind of plays into the new controller meta that we have.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, with Viper and Asher both being nerfed a little bit, and with these maps in particular being played, are we going to be seeing maybe the Viper going away on Breeze, or what are you expecting?
Yeah, I mean, like we get to see, it's going to be a Breeze split and Ascent if we have to jump into the last map. And Breeze in specific, it's been one of the maps that always catches my attention. It feels like everyone has been finding different answers to those controller questions and those initiator questions, right? There's some teams, and I really want to favor those teams that with the initiator, they're relying a lot on those like Sky still, like KO, and that are able to do quite a lot, have a really open area, and can give you that information more than anything. The flashes seems to be crucial in the meta that we're in. And when it comes to the controllers as well, the Viper, I mean, it has to be a must pick, even today for what has to be the map. It's just no one else can really fill it out. Even if you have other controllers that are looking strong, like everyone is talking about Brimstone, no one has that Viper wall. So how do you adapt to that?
Yeah, no, and that's the big thing as well, is like, sure, Viper got nerfed, but still, after that, what she brings is arguably more important. Maybe it means you need to be a little bit more strict on where you put down your wall, or well, wall in conjunction with your orb, most importantly, because it doubles down if you have both active at the same time. But I think, like, even larger than that, we also have Astra maybe to worry about as well. Even though she, a lot of people think, got nerfed to oblivion and back. Like, a terrible pick.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. It does seem like that is going to be a possibility coming in when it comes to Astra, especially because you can still play for those comfort picks. I hear you. I hear you. You're great. I agree. Yeah. I think so, yeah. I think the Viper is gonna be a must pick, especially when you're trying to entry towards that ace side, which is very much the most comfortable side, and depending on the compositions that we get to see, especially for these teams, you want to have the wall to make sure that you're able to isolate at least a couple of targets, have the spike planted when you are going on the attacking side, and have the benefit from that out of just playing from that information right after. So I think the must picks for Breeze, for example, continue to be that Viper and potentially that Sova as well with such open areas you need to gather that information.
Yeah, Sova feels like also a must pick. I think a Chamber or a Jet could also be really interesting shouts for them as well. And that's where team preference, I think, kind of plays a lot more into this factor as well. Again, this is, I believe these players are around like the gold, maybe platinum level as well, and I'm wondering if that personal sort of bias, like that personal feeling, if that comes into play. The agents that they would play in ranked normally, if that's what they're going to be bringing out in their more coordinated collegiate games as well. It's really, I think, a lot of player feel is what you're going to be seeing at this level. So I'm excited because I heard some game noises, which
Yeah,
is
I also
usually a
heard
good
some game
sound.
noises.
One player crashed
So,
on launch.
oh no, we had a crash. So, I mean, hey, that just gives us a little bit more time to theory craft on this one as well. Again, Breeze being our starter. I mean, I can't really disagree with any of it that you said. It feels like Breeze has certainly kind of carved out a niche for what picks are like musts. But I also think this isn't a terrible idea at all if they want to shy away, go a different direction entirely. They still could
Yeah.
have a lot of success because of the level of play.
Absolutely, and the initiators more than anything, we sometimes get to see the double initiator coming in into this map, and it's so nice because then you can balance, having a flash and having maybe a sky as well, maybe a KO to go in, like you mentioned before, and you can also manage to balance that Sova into the mix, so you have that information that you need, especially when you're attacking and where you need it so badly because it's a map that can be very tricky, even if you're rushing into sites, even if you're playing that default is always is going to be key. So the more information with the double initiator, the better it's going to be. But it does seem like we are finally on that agent select, seeing what the teams are finally going to bring. We didn't even get enough time to talk about the duelists.
Actions. And look, let's just be honest here. You saw me kissing that thing before. The Legion Y25 monitor delivers wins in the toughest, most critical situation. Its extreme 1 millisecond response time to its completely absurd, to be honest, 240 hertz refresh rate. The Legion Y25 doesn't just keep up, but does a lot more. Built for those engaged in vast multiplayer battles at the tournament level, the Legion Y25 offers a 24.5-inch full HD IPS panel with built-in NVIDIA G-Sync compatibility. And of course, the Legion Y25 monitor is available at Lenovo.com and other fine retailers. Dryad, I'm sorry to cut you off. I had a bit of passion in me. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. Of course, we completely skipped over the duelists, especially when they're pretty interesting picks, like we saw right here. Reyna on both sides is...
It's Reyna, yeah. It's going to be Reyna. And also, look at that synergy. Look at that synergy that we have going on. I mean it really doesn't get any better.
They kind of lied, though. I mean, you saw like a Yoru portrait, and I would have been really happy to see Yoru. I feel like, especially with his changes, I don't know, he could have fit on this map, right? No? You're still not a fan?
No. I'm sorry, no. That's just a hard no for Yoru.
Well, it's okay. No one's perfect, all right?
I much rather enjoy the Reyna and that Jet. Sure, is not the most standard thing, but this is what we were talking about exactly. Just those comfort picks coming up to the being brought up to the table, and how much value they can get out of someone like Reyna. If you're having a good day, if you're having a good performance, you can really be unstoppable. And it's also giving a little bit more support to the Jet, even when she's dashing in, using that Leer, getting that extra support. So I really like this double duelist coming in for the attacking side. I just want to see how fast it's actually going to play out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, right now, it seems that they're just going to be moving incredibly quick up towards mid. Solsta immediately going to go ahead and really kind of blistering pace for a pistol. I don't even get the chance to set the scene here quite exactly, but it seems that Johnson and Wales, their move is going to be moving as fast as possible. Catch Long Island off guard and just hope that there isn't a stack that they're playing into. And it's pretty rough for them, to be entirely honest. They haven't run into stack, but their post-time positions have been all over the place. And when they're all over the place, that is going to allow players like Totoro to farm a 1v2 clutch to win us out. But it feels like a really strange way to get it settled into this game.
It was also an immediate reaction that we get to see from the defense, which, you know, in the pistol round has gotta be a necessity. But the decision making, even towards the end, as we get to see the Viper winning that 1v1, is just immediately crossing that wall and getting that advantage of catching the last player off guard. And it's a really nice strategy that can work coming in, especially for the attacking side, in a really, really fast post plan that they were able to bring to the table, but now a little bit more towards the other side and already showing some variety.
Yeah, and I like this as well. I feel, especially on an anti-eco like this, playing as fast as you can is, I mean, already it seems what's going to be in your playbook for a majority of this. I feel speed, use it to your advantage as much as possible, because, I mean, from what we've seen so far, this is just kind of an, I don't know, a bit uncoordinated of an anti-eco. There's no exactly concerted effort from Long Island just yet, which is no harm, no foul. I mean, you can't exactly put all your eggs in this basket to hope to win this round, but they don't seem to have a plan whatsoever, and Johnson and Wales are easily going to be able to capitalize upon that. Really, my question is, are they going to be keeping it for this third round?
Yeah, that is a real question that we get to see every single third round, right? The first one and second pretty much going standard, going for that same team, getting the advantage that you can get with those Spectres more than anything, that single Marshall as well. But now that those rifles are going to be bought, it's Long Island's chance to put a little bit more pressure and find something else for these post plans, because it really seems like the rotations are happening instantly. And already with the variety that Johnson and Wales is showing, they can play into a fake, they can bring something new. It seems like it's going to be once again that info towards V, and also that immediate of trying to go in.
Yeah, wall placed down as well. The fact that they don't have any A control is a little bit worrying. Doesn't seem that it's going to harm them whatsoever. No flanks seem to be on the menu for the defensive end. They have to be careful to win their fights here, the attacking side of Johnson and Wales. It's only gone a little bit wrong so far, a little bit awry. They trade 1 for 1, actually do it again as well. Back into 3v3. Still, smokes on either side are up. This is exactly what I was going to say, a perfect time for rotation. I think Johnson and Wales have given that audible as well. They're going to try to run as fast as they can over towards A. Long Island doesn't seem to be any the wiser. They're going to be really late on this call.
They're going to be, and it's going to be a post plan once again. coming
They're
in
gonna
for
have
a set of
Viper's
Long
Pit.
Island. Already taking quite a lot of damage. Now they know for sure, after hearing that trademark, Spike is going to be planted in the meantime. And yeah, there it is finally the reaction that we've been waiting for on the side of Long Island. To try to play together, but they have to face a Viper's Pit to come in and get the kills.
Smart little bits of coordination like that from Johnson and Wales that's going to do them good. I'll touch on it a little bit more later, but I think it's important to mention that this is a bonus round that is just right on the verge of going the way in Johnson and Wales. Don't call it done just yet, though. D1 Athlete has something to say about it. They're stuck in a 1v2. Gonna need an ace to finish this one out. Solstice says no. And it's a bonus round, again, won by Johnson and Wales, which is really amazing news for them. And just before I toss it to you, I just want to say real quick, nice little coordination, though, from Johnson and Wales. What they did is allowed Totoro to farm that orb, then gave the spike over to him, so he could plant it and then immediately use the Viper's Pit otherwise. Immediately after. Otherwise, he wouldn't have had it in time.
Yeah, and it was also knowing that they had quite a lot of time, and they were already forcing a full rotation coming in for the defense, really allowing that play to happen towards that A side. So really goes pretty much according to plan on the attacking side. They're able to steal 2 of the rifles for the enemy, and the defense now into another eco round. Not too much to buy, just information that is trying to get gathered, but already seems like, yeah, Soba all alone getting taken down, and it's just more of that momentum, more of that advantage that the attacking side really want to take.
Yeah, Long Island are trying their hardest to maybe cause a little bit of a spoiler for this round, but they don't have the equipment nor the space, time, anything to make it happen. A bit of an ego push by a couple of the members on Johnson and Wales, but it's not going to do too badly for them. And yeah, like you mentioned, Dryad, just more of the same thing. Go ahead and capitalize on that momentum. Do you think this is a round, though, that they slow things down, or is it going to be more of the same?
Well, here's the thing, right? On the side of Johnson and Wales, on the attacking side, they've been conditioning the defense to be hyper aware towards the beginning and those rounds, and to deny those the spike to be planted. So we saw it on the first 2 rounds. They were rotating from A to B. And in that third one, it was also another full rotation. So they're trying different things. They're trying different paces, and it's really working out for the side of Johnson and Wales, which means that the defense for Long Island, they just have to be hyper aware of any move that they can tell. And it seems like this time is going to be in the A side.
Seems like it for the most part, but they also had someone playing upper. Solstice, I believe it was, with an operator. They're going to find an immediate pick. And look at that radar right now. Long Island immediately rotating. It's that reaction that has been already disciplined into them after only 5 rounds of play.
Oh.
And, God, despite having all of that in their favor, they haven't been able to do anything whatsoever about it. This is right on the verge of being a 5-0. The only person to say otherwise, well, it's going to be the Sova on Long Island all by his lonesome. That's DJ Mandude, or just DJ. That being said, he's going to be trying to flip that record another time and save that gun. I mean, Johnson Wills, yeah, this hasn't necessarily been the most advanced playbook, I think is fair to say. It really has been these kind of one-track minded pushes towards A, maybe keeping one player, like in the instance for Halls, as we saw with Solstice on the op, but they have really not even bothered trying to utilize flanks whatsoever. They've all left the spike, for that matter. I mean, really, they're exploring more so after they get the spike down than than before they do, excuse me.
Every single round we've seen as well, it's been the numbers advantage going on the side of Johnson and Wales before they even have to plant the spike. So it's such a massive advantage to position themselves better to be able to at least get those trades that we got to see, especially in the early rounds. But after that, every single duel is going their way. They tried into this round going into that ace side, getting that information with that guiding light that someone was going to be playing close, taking him down immediately, planting the spike, and playing everything by the book, it seems like. And those duels, that is why they're going their way, because that information is already being gathered, and the numbers are really doing everything. They've stolen a couple of those rifles from the enemy, and they've forced once over and over again that economy to be not so good. This is also a very, very tough spot for Long Island, right? That's why we get to see the timeout of what you can do, because the economy is not looking too good. And if you lose this one as well, it's going to be pretty much until the end of this first half where you're going to be struggling.
Yeah, their economy has been entirely brutalized, which is almost why it feels a bit strange for them to call a pause at this moment as well. We're just about meeting the quarter point of this half as well, right? 12 rounds of playing this first. And honestly, I'm not exactly sure if I'm a fan of this call. Okay, no. Now it's looking a little bit better. They're kind of half buying here. They're trying to go ahead and force up Guardians, maybe get a Marshal in play. And I think that's kind of the right call. Maybe not so much right there, but it's the right call to at least give yourself a winning chance, but don't dedicate everything that you have to it, excuse me. But again, it's more the same. Johnson and Wales have not had any issues whatsoever winning fights. Of course, as I say right there, it seems to go a little bit awry with Jews over on the A-bomb site. And hey, that's one kill going their way. Otherwise, though, it's been Solstice just farming with the operator. They're going to get the spike down again, and these have been very uncoordinated rounds. I don't think that's a secret to anybody, but where it matters most, it's in the actual deathmatch department, and Solstice seems to have a one-off on everybody else in the server.
3 kills already coming in for this Jed. Could potentially get the 4th one, but it's going to be that Chamber finishing off what was left of DJ on the Silva. So another round going in for Johnson and Wells. 6-0. Long Island struggling to find an answer into this one. And the answer might be right in front of their eyes. They have finally some ultimates to use they can take advantage of. Especially at least a great space, right? We can see them using the Viper Spit very, very early on. And that is going to create the hesitation that Johnson and Wells haven't had to face before of maybe we actually make a full rotation into the other side where Long Island can position themselves a lot better. It really feels like the Viper Spit has to be the answer to stop the momentum as soon as possible on the attacking side.
And what's even more brutal as well is that it looks like Long Island has a disconnected player, yet the round is still playing out. They didn't exactly call a tech pause behind it. And that's going to be incredibly brutal because they didn't even have a chance to set up anything whatsoever.
It's also the Viper, no.
It's also the Viper, right? That's just actual salt in the wound at this point. That being said, they've made the most of it. I think what they actually did was a little bit of nice sportsmanship. They actually offered up one of their lives, maybe? I don't know. Because that was a very quick kill and something that we haven't seen a lot from Long Island. Honestly, Jad, I think now is probably a good chance to kind of pick your brain about this. Do you think an operator would solve any of the issues that Long Island have at the moment? Because
if they have the economy, I mean, sure.
Yeah, that's the hard part, isn't it? Well, they have they could get the chamber op going sometime in the next couple of rounds, right? Especially if B-Man farms a couple of kills like he is right now. Oh, okay, maybe not always farming kills, but got a couple of points closer to it. Maybe round 8 we could see something happen, but still, we're on round number 7. Things to do in the meantime. Iranium down into a 1v1. That being said, he's up against a ghost. He's up against somebody in the ethereal force. This player has disconnected in D1 Athlete.
What if this is strat? What if... Oh, no, it's not.
Yeah. They're just really trying to save money. I appreciate that. I love that gamble idea from them. It's unfortunate, but that sort of thing does happen. Hey, DC's happened in my ranked games. You know, it's basically the same thing, right? High stakes collegiate match. No, they're not pausing still. I gotta say, Long Island are seriously doing their best. Considering we don't have perms to pause it either. You saw it there as well. Oh, wait, no. We have it. We have a pause. I guess we're going to be waiting for D1 Athlete to come back. Maybe the internet at those dorms isn't so great.
That's true, the collegiate experience.
Is it not, right? I can relate. I've been in those, I've been in that kind of situation before. So, luckily, you get treated to a couple of face cams for now. And, I mean, what is there for you to report on the state of affairs, Dryad? Because this has been brutalizing so far on Breeze.
It really is so frustrating because I was talking about the Viper Spit and how much it could have gotten them into that round, and it's exactly that Viper who is not in game, who's disconnected, cannot use the massive ultimate to take advantage of that situation. And even towards the beginning, it was the right decision, right? We got to see a couple of trades coming in for the first time, really. What it feels like between the two teams to go and get that entry into B side, but immediately denied at the end into the 1v1 with the disconnected player, and we just know how that goes.
And again, it just kind of makes you think, like, what can be done. Obviously, we're not going to be restarting this game until they have a full 5, but is it something where you think they need to swap positions on the minimap as well? Or is it a matter of actually being able to take some firm control on, say, those early rounds where they've been struggling the most? Like, is there a one-sentence solution to maybe not all their problems, but at least some of them? Because 0-7 is not the start you want.
It's a weird spot that we see from the defense because they have the right positionings towards the beginning into the A and B side, even a little bit that we got to see towards mid. But the thing is that when the attacking team starts coming in, you're not really backing up or trying to contest it. They're losing those duels. So every single post plan that we jump into is going to be not really having the numbers advantage to work with, and everyone getting taken down one by one. So at this point, it's either you're completely backing up and playing a post-plan scenario where everyone is going to be there on the side of the defense, or you're going to be actually trying to get those duels early.
Well, I mean, we're going to need to see how this one actually plays out. It looks like our boy is back, D1 athlete.
Nice.
Viper's Pit's still in play, like you mentioned, Dryad, so this could be one of their winning chances. That being said, they don't really seem to have any direction with it. They actually have to use that Viper's Orb in addition just to get across safely. But Solsta, little do they know, he's not peering over towards Halls. He's actually over towards mid, and this is pretty lovely from Johnson and Wales. I was kind of commenting a little bit before on how they weren't using the flank whatsoever. Now this completely brings a brand new factor into play. As this retake is going to be coming in, not only do they have the player advantage, Johnson and Wales, but they have the positional as well. D1 athlete going to give it the old college try. Gets 1 kill, but is easily traded out by Juice. Maybe drones as well. Going to be going in for a flank. First time we've seen this from the Long Island side. DJ Mandude just trying to get in towards safety, allow his teammates to farm, and farm they are. Collecting 2 on the kill feed. It's going to end up in a 2v2. Totoro is putting all the work on his back, however. And yet it still comes down to the very last second here. You don't have the time to win this. It's completely and totally cataclysmic. And it's not pretty, that's for sure, but it's the best attempt we've seen so far from Long Island.
It was a lot better for sure. I was concerned because we saw 4 stack towards the beginning on the A side for the defense. And there was only the Reyna left in B, but the spike was planted so fast that suddenly the numbers that they had into the A side turned out to be a good bet that they made, and they were able to capitalize from with those trades that they got. But the time was running out, and playing around the Viper's Pit is really a nightmare to deal with. So another round, the fades away. It was definitely a lot closer, but also not close enough.
All right, DJ Mandu, perhaps a bit of a play of desperation. Unfortunately, just barely missed their dart, but blind firing their ult actually isn't a terrible idea there, especially if you have to read. That's another dart. Unfortunately, they aren't able to hit either. Just walking in through the slow field will be Totoro, and that eventually puts Sova out of his misery. Long Island, once again, struggling just in the fundamental being able to win their fights here, and I think it's brutal in particular because if you keep on losing fights, that's not going to help your ego in wanting to continue taking those fights either, right? It's just kind of a momentum sort of play.
It gets really scary, yeah. You have to deal with those duels and know that most of the time you're not really winning them, so you're playing back, but then you're wasting too much time and you have to actually engage. And for the engagement that we see on the side of Long Island, they could pretty much make it happen with, I mean, they have so many tools to get a proper engagement with at least 2 members. They have the leader to go in, they have the guiding light as well. And those tools alone can be enough to get at least a trade into these rounds, but it's not turning to be enough for them. So now an aggressive position turning out to be a lot better with the Marshall. Nice.
Yeah, look what happens. You're already seeing the results of them being able to win a couple of... never mind. Okay. Well, it was short-lived, but they had it in a 3v5 for a very short amount of time before the trades inevitably came through. But it's honestly really nice to see Long Island at least trying to explore, do some new things for the first time seemingly this entire game. DJ Mandude caught out on flank entirely by the Seekers. But you know what? They're starting to explore the flank. That's something that we haven't been able to say before. They're starting to get a little bit more creative on the minimap at this point. And look, maybe it's a little too late, excuse me, for this first map or this first half even. But if they keep on trying this new, more creative style of play, certainly they can find themselves in a winning scenario in at least one of these rounds. One athlete, he's not going to be in one of those winning scenarios. But, you know, the show, what am I trying to say here? The foundation is there. Maybe is that what I'm looking for, Dryad?
Maybe.
I'm trying to think of
sure.
something, man. This is 0-10. I mean, I'm struggling.
It's definitely going. It's definitely a game of Valorant here on the side of Johnson and Wales that they can capitalize from so easily. And you think about the momentum too. It's can turn out to be something so well, not only for the second half, but for the second map as well. We know it just kind of goes back and forth between the picks, but every single dude that they've been trying to contest have been able to get so early. The only ones that we see going in on the side of Long Island have really been the ones that are just due to that positioning. But once again, Spy going to be planted, no numbers to work with, and one by one, everyone is going to get taken down. It's just Johnson and Wells really getting those headshots, really having that information of where the enemy can be coming from and how they're going to contest it.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe we've been talking a little bit too much on Long Island right now, but full props to Johnson and Wales for making this as one-sided as it's been so far. I mean, they have been hitting these shots that matter, and they've been taking full advantage of all the issues with Long Island so far, and you know, that's kind of what we've spent this entire first half talking about, like what can change. Yeah. And yeah, they haven't had the ego to bring out operators, but even the couple of times where we saw them with like marshals, they've been able to get some first kills. You know, take advantage of those incredibly long-range fights that you have the potential to take here on Breeze. And I think they would be in a lot better of situations. Small solo plays, pushing up mid together. I think they have options, but Long Island has been a bit scared to commit to them simply because Johnson and Wales, have been incredibly quick moving. And, you know, they have no reason to stop that if they haven't been stopped whatsoever.
Yeah, absolutely. No, not connecting that first shot so far, but Viper spit out here early on. And this is really the last chance to use those ultimates, so... Last opportunity here, a post plan once again, numbers to work with for Long Island.
And the Seekers as well going out, that's going to give them a little bit more space to work with inside of this Viper's pit. They know one player's rounding the corner. Nikki is short, needs to win a couple of these fights, but they're playing it perfectly, Long Island. That's exactly what we want to be seeing. They're taking a couple of fights together. Solsa doing his damnedest to go ahead and divide fights here, and he's on for the ace. Not just going to get it, it will be Myranium to snatch it away. But once again, despite a very promising attempt from Long Island in the makings of something, Johnson and Wales, no, Solsta snatches that away into their favor, and it's a 12-0 first half. Nothing short of domination.
It was also really playing into the composition, right? For Johnson and Wells starting on the attacking side, having a double duelist to work with, and even having an operator that over and over again was getting kills. But it wasn't really the operator. It was that Solsta was always in the right position to get those kills every single time. And it was most of the times that we saw the spike getting planted on A side. It was the spike planted for Solsta, every single information as well, and that communication that seems to be thriving so much inside of Johnson and Wells, to the point that this is already match point, and there's only one more round that we could see here, and it's a pistol one.
Yeah, Breeze is looking incredibly confident for them. We're just going to have to see it all disintegrate potentially in front of us. Johnson and Wales playing incredibly forward positions, all together. But when they have this single player isolate, suddenly it becomes an issue. Solsta is going to go ahead and, well, maybe go ahead and rid myself of all these fears. It looks like a fair potential 13th. Don't go ahead and call it quits yet. Mini Drones has certainly something to say. 2 kills found. It comes down to 1v3. Myranium on just a couple of points of HP as well. And I think the 13-0 curse, surely it won't come true. Decay will knock him down a couple.
Oh?
Yet another kill, and there's no way he makes this one happen. Time's a ticking. He can get to that halfway mark. D1 Athletes peeking, but hasn't quite committed to it yet. a couple of milliseconds away from being able to actually defuse that spike, and D1 Athlete, well, they ruined the 13-0 dream, but I don't think it needs to be said. There's still a very long way to go.
D1 Athlete has been the player to talk about on this side of Long Island. I know that the rounds didn't really show it, but when you look at the kills that he's been getting in the early opportunities here, it always seems to be going his way. It's just more of a matter of when there's 2 players remaining for his team, being able to clutch it up. And that is a factor that it's a very difficult one to take into account. Not everyone can do it, so you want to rely on the numbers more than anything to have more chances to make something like this happen. But first round here, let's see how much more they can get, an economy they can thrive a little bit more, and already an opportunity for Long Island to get the second round.
Yep, I kind of like this though. The slower pace from Long Island is something that I think will punish Johnson and Wales, excuse me. Maybe only to a certain extent. They're kind of everywhere on the map, aren't they, Johnson and Wales? They're getting a couple of kills with the classics. I can appreciate maybe their daring maneuvers here. But the kills that actually matter are coming the way of Nova Corium on Long Island. Up for actually an ace, if they can only find this last player. Good attempt by Johnson and Wales, though. I like how they're starting to explore the map a little bit here. And we're starting to see a little bit more familiar gameplay, right? It's taking a bit slower. It's not everything being rushed. Long Island, they're getting their well-deserved kills. Still
30 seconds remaining, and they're going to have to run here.
Can you imagine if this works out for Nikki is short? No way! No way! He gets it in the 13-1 for Johnson and Wales behind it. That's how it works.
That is so nice.
A sliver of HP, a Spectre, that you snatched off of somebody's body previously.
Yeah, wow. That is so nice. Also, it would have been different because we saw them running. We saw they knew where this Reyna was hiding and where it's going to be positioned. But I believe both of the guiding lights were already used because we saw one towards mid and I believe we saw one towards the beginning. So the opportunities there were denied to flash that Reyna, get a chance because she was so low in HP. But they get away with it. What a nice round as well to end it up with.
Yeah, I think that's just like, if we had to gather and capture the essence of Johnson and Wales maybe for that entire first map, I think that would be it, right? Just in kind of the strangest opportunities are being fed some of these rounds. Obviously, you know, there's the unfortunate incident like round 8 or something where they had a disconnect, but all in all, Johnson and Wales undeniably are looking like the better team right now. There's still potentially 2 more maps coming up. We at least have Split to look forward to. We're going to be taking a pretty quick break as we prep for that second map, but we'll see you on the other side. And I can go ahead and finally kiss that Lenovo monitor.
I gotta make it just for my kids and for their kids' kids. That's wealth years and years. Promise my brother soon as he out and finish this bid, we finna do it bigger than anybody ever did. The odds is real big, job that's real big. Satan trying a little, my God is real big. Stayed up on the ground and the cars is real big. I gotta do it big, the only way that I can live.
Hey man, I just can't find a comfortable headset. I mean, I've tried everything. Literally everything.
Jeez, my brother. I got you.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
That is comfortable.
Y'all think too small, I got big dreams. You just starting, I'm way ahead at the end scenes. Started reading and dodging all of the quick schemes. Money like your Spotify, boy, I got 10 streams. And I'm still looking for more. My people, they got a soar, I'm putting that on the Lord. Ain't accepting, ignore, just kicking down all the doors. Guarantee you, boy, if I ask for it, it's gotta be real big. I gotta make it just for my kids and for their kids' kids. That's wealth years and years. Promise my brother soon as he out and finish this bid, we finna do it bigger than anybody ever did. The odds is real big, job that's real big. Satan trying a little, my God is real big. Stayed up on the ground and the cars is real big. I gotta do it big, the only way that I can live. And I promise I'm trying to. Before you count me out, homie, let me remind you. They was blocking the shine, now I think it's my time to. Counting them dollar signs like lights, they'll blind you. Let me rewind to back when I was broke and I couldn't acquire 2 cents. And now I got 2 rents. They was sleeping on me, homie, must have got too big. Call my phone, I be like, who this? Damn right, hell yeah, I'm brand new. Smell like can too. I'm fresh forever like canned food. Try and tell me what I can't do. I wanna see the world, my vision on shamu. That mean I got goals that's real big, foes that's real big. Y'all offer too little, sorry, my soul is real big. Coming into the ring with blows that's real big. I gotta do it big, that's the only way I can live.
What will you like today? Another Cloud 2 classic?
I'll stick with the usual. Maybe take a little bit off the sides.
Oh, that's fresh.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Hey, watch your head.
What sound experience would you like today?
I'll have the fantasy pack.
Good choice.
And could you make it a Cloud 2 wireless?
On his way, sir.
Sounds amazing.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Ain't accept and ignore, just kicking down all the doors. Guarantee you, boy, if I ask for it, it's gotta be real big. I gotta make it just for my kids and for their kids' as kids. That's wealth years and years. Promise my brother soon as he out and finish this bid, we finna do it bigger than anybody ever did. The odds is real big, jobs that's real big. Satan trying a little, my God is real big. Stayed up on the grind on the cars is real big. I gotta do it big, the only way that I can live.
Hey man, I just can't find a comfortable headset. I mean, I've tried everything. Literally everything.
Sheesh, my brother. I got you.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
That is comfortable.
Y'all think too small, I got big dreams. You just starting, I'm way ahead at the end scenes. Started reading and dodging all of the quick schemes. Money like your Spotify, boy, I got 10 streams. And I'm still looking for more. My people, they got a soar, I'm putting that on the Lord. Ain't accept and ignore, just kicking down all the doors. Guarantee you, boy, if I ask for it, it's gotta be real big. I gotta make it just for my kids and for their kids' as kids. That's wealth years and years. Promise my brother soon as he out and finish this bid, we finna do it bigger than anybody ever did. The odds is real big, jobs that's real big. Satan trying a little, my God is real big. Stayed up on the grind on the cars is real big. I gotta do it big, the only way that I can live. And I promise I'm trying to. Before you count me out, homie, let me remind you. They was blocking the shine, now I think it's my time to. Counting them dollar signs like lights, they'll blind you. Let me rewind to back when I was broke and I couldn't acquire 2 cents. And now I got 2 rents. They was sleeping on me, homie, must have got too big. Call my phone, I be like, who this? Damn right, hell yeah, I'm brand new. Smell like can too. I'm fresh forever like canned food. Try and tell me what I can't do. I wanna see the world, my vision on shamu. That mean I got goals that's real big, foes that's
Let's not mince words here, Dryad. It was a little bit of a one-sided first map, but on the plus side, this is a best of 3. It's not all over and done for Long Island University just yet. Welcome back to the ECAC Week 8. My name is Ito, and of course, again, I am joined by Dryad. So, how about that breeze?
I mean, I feel like we already had to say.
We did, didn't we?
We already mentioned everything that we had to say about that one. But on the positive side here, Split, which is their second map, plays a lot different to bring.
Yeah, no, basically all ways, right? You had one player in particular on the side of JWC who was farming with an operator, and look, the operator is still all fine and good on Split. It has its place, but I wouldn't say it's nearly as oppressive as it is potentially on a map like Breeze, just because of the sort of sightlines that you're working with. So, I mean, first off, you might not even see them on Jet. You maybe would see them on a Raze, which would be, in my opinion, like a really good pick. But what else are you looking forward to? What else would Split bring us, Triad?
I feel like if we already saw it in Breeze, I still think it's a possibility to see that double duelist being played from the side of Johnson and Wells because it worked. So
Yeah.
it just makes sense, and it might look a little bit different. It can be a Jet with Raze, it can be even a little bit of the same. But like you mentioned, the Raze is one of those duelists that we look towards to see every single time we see a Breeze, or every time we see a Split, and it just makes sense, right? That's such a close angles that you have to take care of, and Raze really plays perfectly into them. It also allows you to have the fast push into sight in a way that also Jet is able to do, but we didn't even get to see too much of that, right? Because it
Yeah.
was Jensen and Will getting the sight pretty much for free only with the Viper wall.
Exactly. They didn't even need to necessarily use a lot of their util to get to places quickly. Like, I mean, that would be an upgrade for sure, right? Being able to double satchel into places other than just straight up walking. But there was a good amount of times where, for Johnson and Wales, literally what they would do is if there was a trademark or something, sure, they would just Chad walk through the choke. Like they would go through the slow and win a fight. There was a couple of instances where that happened exactly on like the B fight or on the B site.
Yeah.
So yeah, again, like obviously movement would be a nice advantage for them to have, but it doesn't even seem like it's relatively necessary because they could walk through these chokes and still be rewarded with round wins. And I think that's not necessarily something that can be fixed just with a new map. So
it's those comfort picks. Yeah, it's comfort picks shining really bright on the side of Jensen and Wells, and on the side of Long Island, still trying to figure out what is really working out. Because at this point, even if they aware and they are going to play those comfort picks, is the play style here that seems to be the question. That so far cannot be answered because it's not really working out. We mentioned it before. It's that really awkward spot between getting those early fights and getting away with those duels and backing up and playing all together. We never really saw a proper balance between them because it was either at the side of Long Island losing very early duels or getting taken down in very awkward positions because they couldn't fully back up and get out of the second time. And now on Split, it's more of a chance to see that, right? A little bit of those close angles so you can really run away wherever you want in those open areas. It's going to be more of a decision making on what the process is going to look like on the B side, especially.
Yeah, no, I hard agree on that. I think like Split is going to be overall pretty positive change for them. Not only because of what you're mentioning, just like kind of the more closed off angles means that you're going to be exploring those angles just kind of naturally, but also on Breeze we saw a lot of these again just kind of like one track minded pushes towards A where a lot of mid wasn't necessarily utilized. But I feel on Split the map has also just been kind of around for a little bit longer. Not that Breeze is like necessarily crazily new or anything, but you know, it's still new, exactly.
Still kind of new.
Yeah, not the newest, I guess. That lovely honor goes to Fracture, I suppose. But like, I feel it's just going to be baked in a lot more to their mind. Like, hey, maybe instead of just running through B main, screw it, let's send a player mid. And there's probably going to be someone mid as well, rather than on Breeze, where, you know, a lot of the time Long Island University would just kind of place players randomly at one site and just kind of hope for the push to come in their way, and it never worked out, right? And even if it did, they won those fights anyway. I don't know. It could be a good setting for them.
The only round that we really saw going on the side of Long Island was that second pistol.
The pistol, yeah.
And it's a good thing, right? Because we see them winning the pistol. We know that they have the potential. The pistol can sometimes be a little messy, but it ended up going their way. And it's a good start of momentum for them that they really needed in this map, right? It's a map split that can give you a lot to work on with those specters, those close range duels that we've been talking about. And it all starts with getting the numbers with the ghosts, with the classics that you have at hand.
Yeah, and also, you know, I think it's worth mentioning the judge as well. Like, maybe it's a bit silly to bring up, but Nova Corium, I believe, on Long Island, brought out the judge a couple of times while holding A main. And it makes a lot more sense, I think, on a map like Split, where you actually have a lot of cheeky angles that I think you can utilize it in. So, I don't know. It might not fare better for Long Island, but I want to be the optimist, and I want to say that they can at least bring a more competitive game. That being said, I think regardless, Johnson and Wales have just kind of come across as the better team entirely. So the onus will be on Long Island, to impress us. And well, comp-wise, Johnson and Wales, they're kind of impressing me a little bit. Bringing out the Astra is an interesting one for me. I don't necessarily hate it. It's just I don't really see a lot of the combo potential that Astra can bring on a map like Ascent.
Especially when you compare it to what the set of Long Island has locked, and especially because they're going to be on the defense, it can be a little bit confusing to work with. But yeah, those last selections are going to come through, and it seems like a very, I want to say, a sort of hybrid composition that we're looking at. You have a lot of different plays that you can bring to the table instead of Johnson and Wales, but we already know the way that these players are able to perform, for example. So it's more than anything the aggression and the playstyle towards the beginning. On the map of Breeze, we saw the hesitation, right? We saw a lot of variety. We saw them conditioning the enemy for different styles and different types of plays that they were going to bring. But now that they are able to know the enemy a little bit better, is how you perform with these agents to the same high level that we already saw before. Because having the same performance, it's not the easiest thing to do, and especially because you already have the bar set so high.
The bar is set high, and I think Johnson and Wales, they haven't even necessarily pressured to try maybe some of those things that we have yet to praise them on, just because, again, the challenge hasn't really been there for them to try to explore flanks or so on and so forth. This could be a nice big challenge for them. The pistol, as you mentioned, can always be a little bit scrappy, a little bit wild. It's the only round that Long Island were able to win on map number 1. So let's see if they can recreate history this time, maybe in the first half. It's looking good. Okay, there you have it. It's actually not the bullets that get the job done, but rather the boom bot. But regardless, that's the first kill going their way. Ground down to a halt will be Johnson and Wales. And look at this, Long Island, they're starting to explore. They're realizing that there's other places on the map, and they're actually trying to push their advantage. It's doing great. They're now up 2 players. This could be a nice, fun challenge. Long Island, they're not running into many issues whatsoever on this pistol round here. Johnson and Wales, they're the ones who are actually having trouble even retrieving that spike in the first place. So
yeah, I mean, only 2 here. Is a 2v3, a guiding light that actually flashes a couple of the teammates as well. Has to wait, but at least they're able to get away with their lives as of right now. A lot of damage coming in towards the heaven, and a 1v2 to finalize it here. Salsa coming up again, looking very close. But at the end of the day, there it is, Long Island. It seems like pistol rounds are just their thing.
Yeah, it's their thing, and it was as scrappy as last time. If you flash back to round 13 on Breeze, that was the only round that they won, of course. But in addition to that, it was also like a 1v3 come down to a 1v1. We just saw that happen again. So really, I think if this happens more, which it might happen in this round, knowing that Johnson and Wales don't seem to be buying up, be careful for all of the potential eco damage that could be done. They're still not, in the clear yet by any stretch of the imagination. Also, I really like that combo that they did with the Astra there. The pull into some classic spam, did them good for a bit of damage and also forced out the heal from the Sage. Are they actually committing to this B spike, or this B site, though?
It's so difficult with the Cypher, too, and all the utility as well. It's a 5v5 to conquer. So far managing to stay alive, though.
Yeah, well, they're going to go ahead and give the old college try. Once again, it was what we talked about on Breeze, where they just pressed W and weren't afraid of slow fields or anything. Not much eco damage to speak of, and Long Island, suddenly they're looking like they actually have a say in this game.
that I like also the respect that we see on the side of Johnson and Wales. They were not really forcing that second round. They were not trying to buy those specters. They wanted to play as usual, respecting the enemy as well, respecting that even though the first map went their way so nicely, things can change around and that momentum might get a little bit over your head. So going back to the usual, going back to now that third round of those rifles, but those specters in this map can do so much, right? Those close duels that every single time we've seen Long Island trying to take continue going their way. And for the first time, we can see a little bit of a different pace where they are more proactively trying to change things.
And I love this. This is what I was talking about, what you were talking about, where Johnson and Wales, like, they're finally going to go ahead and start showing some more glimpses of respect for Long Island. They haven't had to do this sort of default previously. Now they're being kind of forced into it after losing the first 2 rounds. Now, mind you, this is a bonus from Long Island, so they aren't necessarily working with the best equipment, but if Johnson and Wales could win theirs, who's to say that Long Island can't do the same? They're already a player stronger in this. Maybe keep an eye on that defensive setup from Long Island. They have some questions on where they want to actually commit. B-Man, you need to turn around. Where are you looking, sir? Sure, I know there's some pushing coming out towards B, but you need to keep your back covered as well, especially when you hear noise. That's going to be a full commit in from Johnson and Wales. Spike planted without any issue whatsoever. And only now will Long Island be able to respond. D1 athlete pushing up, but is not watching his back as well. Juice finds 2, makes it actually 3 in the round. Johnson and Wales are on the board.
Very nicely done. Also, only got to lose 1 player. That was very early on, and that means that the rifles are going to be kept. The economy is going to thrive a little bit more for those next couple of rounds. And Long Island, they wanted to get away with it. Only a single pick that they were able to take away from the side of Johnson and Wales. And still, you want to give them the benefit of the doubt. Now they're able to buy those rifles. Now is when we actually see the proper fight taking place. And this is a perfect opportunity for them to implement what we got to see in that first and second round, right? The aggression, them actively looking for the enemy, actively trying to get those picks and get the numbers advantage. If they're able to do that with their rifles, they can get away with the round so nicely. And it's something that they're definitely looking for.
They're going to need it as well. Would mean a lot for them.
Yeah.
Mentally, especially after the beatdown that they took on Breeze. And God, speaking of beatdowns, talk about brutal for DJ Man, dude. Spammed out of position, forced to actually commit, and he had no help whatsoever. That man dude is now a dead dude. Long Island looking lost in round number 4 here. As it comes down to D1 athlete, you can toss down that stimmy all you want. I don't think it's going to do great in a 1v5. I think he sure will make it so. And Johnson Wales giving us some flashbacks to map 1.
And I know I mentioned the Astra and how it's been nerf and not also agent that we've seen a lot in Split, but it's working so nicely on the side of Johnson and Wales because they are using that well, they're positioning themselves so nicely, and they also always have the right idea of where the Cypher and everyone else positioned into that B site is going to be located. So it's just a matter of time and a matter of communication before they get that opening pick to work with.
Yeah, it really forces them into that position. And I think when you play around an Astra, she still has a lot of value. Ooh, speaking of value, that Marshall, 950 credits, yet they're making it look like an op! 2 kills immediately. 1 a headshot, 1 a body. But still, it's a kill regardless. Long Island! What? Holy hell!
Peeking? Were they peeking that over and over again? Stop.
I mean, at what point do you just smoke it, you know? Maybe they didn't have a smoke available, but the wall was used in a bit of a silly position. The Asher wall. Novacorium. Yeah, go ahead and take your upgrade. I don't know. I think that Marshall might be your lucky charm. Johnson Wales stunned. I mean, what can he say about a play like that? It doesn't happen all the time, but certainly it'll do you good for a round. Good lessons for Johnson and Wales to learn off of that, though. Maybe don't peek the same person that many times.
Also, yeah, 1 by 1. That is the issue, right? At least if you're trying to trade, or or smokes or flashes to work with. But they just thought that it seems like they thought that they could just get away with it, trying to contest it over and over again. But really wasn't the case. Now the time is running out. Less than 20 seconds. That is going to be by the time that the spike is going to try to get planted. It's a 1v3 to deal with it.
Bolster can win this though. He's been given a lot of respect, a lot of space here. He can get the spike down wherever they wish, actually.
10 seconds left.
Tap it once. There's the first kill over towards Raptors. Not quite ready for the person over towards CT or defensive spawn, excuse me. They'll be thrifty going the way of Long Island. Now, make no mistake, I know DJ Mandu got the final kill of that round, but it was Nova Corium all the way. Amazing martial action.
Yeah.
Does some good for that round.
A couple Marshall kills that came a little bit unexpected, but we know for sure that Jensen and Wells were able to learn from that lesson, trying to contest at least in a different way, or at least trying to use that utility, not just peeking the corner and getting taken down. So the changes that are going to be brought to the table, no more default as well, is going to be the B side that the side of Jensen and Wells are going to try to target next.
B-site is now their boon, and it is a incredibly, again, just one-track minded push here. There's absolutely nothing happening over towards mid or A. If Long Island were to go ahead and try to push their boundaries a little bit, if they were to explore, go on a bit of a walk, they could get so much information for free and effectively corral Johnson and Wales in. But no, they're taking them just completely head on. There's a KO used by Moranium behind it, and that's going to be their cue to push. Actually make this into a real execute. Long Island are waiting, though. Lying in wait most of all will be mini drones. There's a Brimstone committed. Solsta completely caught out of position. Will soon be taken out of commission. That's spiked down, mind you. Of all players to dice, Solsta was the one that you certainly didn't want going down. That's going to funnel them in to actually having to grab this spike, and it will be a field day for Long Island. As B-Man collects his couple, and it comes down to Nikki a short 1-on-4, but when there's too many bodies, too many heads to shoot, it's an impossible task. It's not pretty, but Long Island, they get the job done.
The map is already looking so much better, and we got to see a little bit of variety coming in for this side of Long Island. Like you said, Jensen and Wales, more than anything, it's just the decision making into those sites is what is causing them to get taken down, right? We saw initially them into the kills that were laying down right in front of that sky, and then for this round, it was just a potential rush that they were trying to implement, but it had to be slowed down. They had absolutely no map control to work with, and by the point that they want to get anything else, they can't even rotate. They're completely surrounded, and it is going to be Long Island just taking advantage of that situation. So Jensen and Wales, not the worst, not the best situation to be in. You're going to try to match it for this one, at least make it those 3 rounds that you're looking for, and with some mutual, with some ultimates, the opportunity is there.
They're walling over this towards mid. This is interesting. I think B-Man might actually push. Let's see. Getting a little bit of information. That'll cost them their life. Smart play by Johnson and Wales. This is the sort of creativity I feel like they need if they want to prosper on this map. They've run into significantly more resilience than they did on Breeze. So this is a nice sort of changing of pace, changing of the seasons. Mind you, there's a lurker over towards mid as well, behind that wall too. Solsta... or excuse me, Nikki has yet to really make his mark on the round! And apparently when he does, he just might walk into his demise. 2 HP, you gotta bail out of there, but that's some information. You know that a player's mid, you can at least expect one coming from heaven. So there's the Astro Util behind it. Long Island needs to start moving soon. That time's ticking, and they're gonna be ready to define that spike at any cost, any means necessary. They're gonna put their bodies on the line for it. Johnson and Wales, they're being treated to a nice round victory here, and all it took was a tiny bit of creativity. That boost over mid was kind of the key to it all. Okay, they all die. Really?
I mean, they win the round, you know. You can't really blame them for that. It happens. They had a creative play, and now a little bit of a less creative play to finish it off. So Jensen and Wells, yeah, they get away with that one. Like you said, trying something different, and this is what really made them win that map of Breeze. It was trying different things every single time, and creating that fear for the enemy where you don't know exactly where they're going to be pushing, if it's going to be all of them, if it's going to be a default, what is going to happen. So Jensen and Wells try something new towards mid with that wall that is also not something that we get to see very often, but it finds them the answer that they needed. So now a little bit more pressure, and Long Island also proactively using that utility to get that damage, to get those kills, and create that hesitation to push in.
Oh, just shoot D1. You're so close. Oh, Mini Drones is the one actually doing the shooting here, apparently. Okay, Johnson and Wales. Right as we're praising them, they're going to be knocked right back down again. Long Island respond back with what really is just kind of a simple play. I'm not exactly sure how much you can exactly write home about that. It seems like an incredibly dry push from Johnson and Wales. Not much going in behind it, and they'll be completely swept away before even having a chance to appear in that round, quite honestly.
For the first time, it seems like there's going to be an ECAC round coming in for Johnson and Wales. And I mean first time, not only in this map, but the entirety of this match between the two teams, where Johnson and Wales are going to have to adapt. They realize that, like I said before, the momentum can get a little bit over your head, and you have to adapt, and you really have to be concentrated to get away with the kills that you want. And that is Long Island taking advantage of every single time, and again, they do it.
Again, Johnson and Wales showing a bit of promise. Before, again, you know, they were completely and totally uncontested in their early rounds. Now, this is what Long Island have improved on since the map swapped, and it's like we're watching a different team entirely. It's certainly noticeable. Long Island just had to iron out those few kinks, and suddenly they're actually looking competitive here on Split. For things to mention though, Johnson and Wales, I mean, look, they aren't an eco. There's really only so much that you can expect from them. They're actually committing the resurrection.
Okay.
That's a creative choice. D1 athlete might go ahead and show them exactly why that's not your finest idea, your finest moment. They're walking into the stim beacon. Maybe that doesn't work for you. Long Island, well, they maybe did a little bit more than they thought there. They ended up burning the res. That feels a little bit ridiculous.
I'm not a fan of that res. You can't even say rifles, or you can't even get the kills that you need to. It's just Long Island from the long range, being able to get away with those kills and being able to get away with another kill. So just positive for them on Long Island, as they are really finding the answers to everything. So now it seems like a closer positioning. Okay.
What are you doing here, man? Oh wait, is this this might be a Razor. Take care for a satchel over, perhaps? This is creative.
Spike is A, though. Are they actually going to come B? Or is the wall going to get no value?
It might. I respect the creativity, but...
They can save it for next round. It's okay.
Well, this is true. Oh no, the Astro Ball is being used. What is this Astro Ball? This is ridiculous. Blocking off kind of nothing. It goes ahead and allows them to split
right in the middle of
towards mid.
everything.
Wait, there was no one mid. What is going on right now? There's absolutely no one mid. Look, don't get me wrong. I still think what the wall did, the wall's purpose was dumb, but it's actually working out brilliantly for oh god, no, they just dropped the spike. Jules had the spike and they did not clear the site. So now they're going to have to make a rush onto it, and they've lost a player in the result of it. They're going to have to use that Viper's Pit, but it's a 1v3. You're going to have to expect amazing things out of Totoro, but that's just unrealistic. That is completely ridiculous that it's gotten into this state of affairs. Totoro, 6 bolts left. You're forced to reload, son. Do you remember the famous Totoro 1v3? It started with him flicking left. Now, maybe I was just misremembering. Goes down. That's another big ultimate. A game-changing ultimate for them, committed as well, mind you.
It feels like the round could have ended a little bit earlier too, but we heard the showstopper, and the showstopper was kind of thrown out of nowhere when we saw actually the Viper for Totoro being on the right side, getting already a kill on the right side. So you already had the information of where the Viper is going to be located. Trying to get that showstopper to connect it would have been nice at the end of the day. I mean, they get away with the round, but Long Island, they're finding the answer here. The defense is looking so strong, and it's also a little bit of the nature of the map, right? The defense can do so much, can position themselves in such interesting locations to work with. Like we saw, I mean, a little bit earlier, sure, it didn't work because the push wasn't towards B, but you're trying different things, and it is what is allowing Long Island to have a different look compared to what we saw in Breeze.
Yeah, right. The map is certainly playing a lot more in their favor. They seem so much more confident. Again, it's just kind of a different team to an extent that we've been seeing. Right now, Johnson and Wales, I'm trying to go through their thought process right now and figure out what their plans are to push through Heaven. But there's basically no rotation to speak of from Long Island just yet. They're afraid to commit. Actually, look at this. You see that Brimstone is in moving towards ropes. That is something that you wouldn't have seen on Breeze. They're starting to explore more, and I absolutely love it. Johnson and Wales, this is a pretty tricky position for them to be in. With all the ultimates being committed from Long Island, though, I mean, they're really going to have to fight tooth and nail just to get out of this one alive. Johnson and Wales, that's with another kill. Not going their way either. They're going to have to seriously come out on top of some of these fights, but it is just not working out. The artillery diff, certainly a major player in that one as well, and it'll be 8 rounds for Long Island.
8 rounds in a post-plan scenario that's working so nicely for them, especially into the B-side that towards the beginning looked very scary because we had all the Cypher util and the Cypher hiding all the way on backside. So it was not something that Johnson and Wells wanted to contest. We saw them going towards A, towards mid for a couple rounds to change the narrative around. But now they try to find the answers again. They don't find the Cypher up close, but they still have to deal with the kills and the damage that is not really connecting. So it's a little bit of the opposite story that we got to see before, and it's surprising. But the Cypher is back in the game. The Cypher is back into that side, and that is exactly what Johnson and Wells is trying to go.
I like it. Creative DJ man, dude. You don't want to go ahead and put your eggs in one basket. Johnson and Wales. Just push out over towards B. Nothing all too crazy. Nothing all too creative. But if it gets the job done, I'll let it be. It's the final round of the half. Anything goes. Mini drones low in HP here will get topped up by both the Sky and the Sage if need be. And speaking of ultimates as well, there's still plenty of them for Long Island as well to utilize too. B-Man probably should be a little bit more passive in this position just so they have that res available. It's a 5v5 still. Finally, that chain will be broken. B-Man finds it first. I mean, DJ Mandu just throwing a cage. I'm sorry, son, that doesn't do damage. I mean, in from there, Resurrection comes through. It's all over the place, honestly. And while this is all going on, they're just sticking the spike and nobody notices.
Wow.
Long Island, not only do they win the round, but they crush the mental of Johnson and Wales. This is a team that just got 13-1'd in the first map, and now they are just completely and totally curb stomping Johnson and Wales here on Split. And what changed? Well, the map.
The map, yeah, that is true.
That's it. I really feel like we haven't seen anything crazy of note. I mean, Long Island, again, they're exploring the map, and I love how they're doing that. They're getting in more creative positionings, but Johnson and Wales have just not... I mean, they've been fumbling the bag, to be quite honest with you.
It's a difficult one to deal with. Overall, the performance for Long Island have been so much better on this map. I mean, it goes with kills, it goes with positioning that they take as well. But it seems like also when they were on the defensive side, it was just built for success because those weird plays that we saw in Breeze are really building up to giving them the success they got into the first half. Now it's a 9-3. We don't really know the preparation on the defense that Johnson and Wells can have. But it's more of a proactive role that, once again, Long Island is trying to take. They try to gather some information to keep one player towards mid, and they try to go for that A push.
A push with a decent amount of noise made. They have a crossfire established, but they won't sit on it for too long. It's going to be Jews who they rely on for a bit. So we'll find that first kill, back up to site. This is where the rotations start coming in handy. Juice has a lot to do and not a lot of support to do it with. Solsta peaks at the same time, which at least secures a trade, but it's still 4v3, which is dangerous territory. This is a must-win round for Johnson and Wales, and it's looking awfully good for them. D1 Athlete is alone against 4 to try to clutch this one out. Well, he's gotten the first one with a nice couple of shots. That's all he'll find. Uranium Maybe also securing the defuse? No, it'll be Solstice to snatch it away instead. But hey, this is the beginning of a potential comeback. If it were to happen, I think a pistol is a wonderful place to start.
It's a really nice place to start too. It's going to enable pretty much the same thing that we got to see from Long Island in that first half, is those Spectres, and then building from that momentum over and over again, forcing eco rounds from the enemy team, which is honestly a nightmare to deal with, and it enables for more mistakes to happen. So for Johnson and Wells, this is a good start. A pistol round going their way, and a pistol round that they definitely needed to see how they can position themselves across the map. It seems like, just based on that first map, it seems like they have the better idea on how to play that defense and how to understand the value of those duels and the numbers that they can take early on. Some early information, immediately managing to run away, and this is a little bit of deja vu, but okay, only get one. It's fine.
They're gonna wall across, try to go in over
Oh,
towards
no,
heaven.
wait, no.
No, that breaks the wall down! Stop playing with fire! You're gonna get burned! And Solsta has a spike as well. Look, I mean, this wasn't the round that they were gonna win, right? They were sitting with classics for the most part, but still, the Marshall, it's a deadly duo. And that long angle. Jeez.
I can't believe that they almost played the exact same way. That is insane. Just trying to contest that Marshall, knowing that you're probably not going to connect the kill fast enough because that Marshall is already in position. And it really plays a big part into allowing Johnson and Wells to win that second round. Surely, it's often those transitory rounds for that second that turn right into the narrative of whoever won that pistol round, but it's still not something that you want to get away with so quickly. It's something that is going to hit it, and you got it.
Got it, Totoro.
Yep.
I've been there, bro. I've been there. Again, so don't play with fire. Don't play with matches. They have gotten just burned multiple times.
I really
It's
want them to
unfortunate.
cry.
I do. I'm going to be keeping my eye. No, they pushed past. I mean, that one way wouldn't have even done them justice in the first place. They pushed well past it. And this is what I was talking about. It's what you were talking about as well. Just they're exploring the map. This is what map control looks like. It's a fundamental. Now Johnson and Wales, they can say that the entirety of B main is clear. They're going to need to clear that entire section in Totoro. Although they have a Spectre,
oh, do they?
They also have the perfect chance to farm a kill here. Now it's the artillery diff to end up doing them wrong. 20 HP though remaining on that Sky. Sure, they could be healed, but not past armor. Four players walk in Solstice's direction. Myranium. A bit of a tough task on his hand in order to hold down this site. Flash out. Don't peek for too long behind it or else you'll die immediately. Just like that, Long Island. They're not going to lose the bonus. Or they're not going to win the bonus, that is. Excuse me. Johnson and Wales humbled a bit. But I see a Marshall and I get scared.
After what we've seen, I mean.
After the incidents. They're going to catch on fire again. Oh, wait a second. No. Time's too fickle of a thing. I don't think they have it. Surely not. Yeah, okay. Well, I mean,
it's a Vandal, so.
Sorry?
It's a Vandal here, so.
Yeah, probably making the most out of this, right? Of all guns that you had to pick up. Plus, they might find a couple of bonuses right here, won't they? Or a couple of exits.
Oh, nope.
No, jeez,
not.
ready for it.
4 HP. Oh, could have definitely gotten that. We'll get the Vandal again here, and it's double digits now, side of Long Island. It's John and Wales, first and second round for second half, going their way, slowing things down a bit. But we know how those rounds, how the economy is going to work for them. I see an operator too in the hands of Jews who had already a good performance with the Marshall. Can only expect him to do the same towards mid, which as of right now, Long Island is not really trying to contest, but they've been doing quite a lot of rotations.
I love those rotations. Makes things exciting. You get to see multiple settings on this map. This will not be one of those incidents where I think we're going to see multiple pieces on the map. There's no flanks to speak of whatsoever. They have a couple. No, actually just the one going heaven. Everybody else running it down towards A main and onto site without a scratch to any of their bodies. Nikki is short. See how tall they can stand here. The answer is, well enough. I'll bait their teammate into finding a kill here. Retake effort is still on, however. They haven't given up chances yet. Many drones hold Zhang on towards B. This is an entirely site-focused effort, mind you. Long Island. Bit of clearing utility will do them a lot of wrong, but they have not been contested. That time's still ticking, Triad! Where are they? They're nowhere to be found! Start pushing the site, Totoro! Come on, go ahead and see that prime real estate you have! No, there's gonna be demolished one after another! Oh, this is brutal. No, even if you stick it, you don't have the time at this point, don't you?
That was so close.
I mean, they just gotta press the W button. That wall ended up just trapping them in.
It's such a tragic round as well because the picks finally start to come in for Jensen and Wales, but like you said, the timing was really everything. Timing for a lot of this post-plant scenarios can be the biggest enemy, and for Jensen and Wales, it really seems to be the case now. Another timeout that we get to see someone on the side of Johnson and Wells. It's a narrative that can continue to go back and forth, especially on these maps, if they don't really find a way in. This was the answer. They bought an operator. They bought those Vandals because they thought that they could stop what Long Island was bringing, but it's pretty much the opposite scenario of Breeze, right? It is Long Island just going into side, planting the spike, forcing a post plan where the numbers are going their way and getting away with it in a way that you start to question, is the timing the right thing that is being played on the side of Johnson and Wales? Is the positioning that they're taking defensive enough, or is there another change that has to be made? This is one of the conversations that they have to have as the timeout starts to run out and they realize that it's going to be a very, very long comeback if they want to win this map too.
I mean, it is doable. Kind of a terrible setting for them to have to begin mounting a comeback. I mean, I guess we also said that on the pistol where... I mean, I think it's worth noting that Johnson and Wales have shown, like, glimpses. It feels like every round that they have won has been one-sided in their favor. But, like, they've never won a close round.
Yeah.
And obviously, like, Long Island has had a lot of one-sided affairs in their way as well. Oh my god, they're starting to move around the map. Look at this. Nikki is short. Yes, look at this. Explore the anime territory. Get somewhere new. Please, God, more of this. Inject it straight into my veins. This sort of map control is so important for them, but they've been so afraid to push off of it. He concedes it entirely. And we're kind of right back to this awkward state where eventually they kind of meet in the middle, where the attackers end up making their mark, and they lose their fights. It's not something that we could have said for map 1, but, I mean, in map 1, Johnson and Wills were hitting some crazy shots. Why is my Radium there? It's a different question entirely. He doesn't have any backup. Kind of caught out in the middle of nowhere. But once again, they had a classic. They were probably just trying to get into a cheesy position, maybe find one. See if Solsa can go ahead and fare a little bit better. Nice shot on the first,
drop.
Not quite the second. DJ, man, dude, hitting some nice shots here. Gonna find 2.
I mean, 2 remaining here. There's going to be the Jet all trying to get an advantage into this one in a post plant. Spike just planted here. Paint shells that we hear all the way back. Not really knowing where the defense is going to be coming from. The Jet here, Nikki waiting for the right time to engage. A Cosmic Divide 2 invested.
Man, looking for the perfect opportunity to close this round right here. And maybe move us on to a third. Mind you, it will be a sense if we get there. And considering the struggles, it's looking a lot more than maybe. It's probably just going to happen at this point. It's 12-5. Johnson and Wills will finally have a good, solid buy in their favor. Really no asterisks attached whatsoever. But again, this just has to be something amazing. I mean, this discrepancy of rounds is so large. Where you just feel like Long Island will squeak one out, right?
Yeah, I wanted to give the benefit of the doubt when we got to see a shaky performance coming in on Johnson and Wales on the attacking side, because we know how defensive this map can be, and I mentioned it a little bit earlier. But now we get to see the defense. It's not looking too impressive. They're losing a lot of members early on. They're losing map control, which is kind of the crucial part of the defense in a map like this one. And it's just from mistake to mistake. They're getting taken down and they're losing this round. And Long Island already in match point. They need one more to go. A comeback has to be absolutely insane for the last chance that Johnson and Wells is needed to close this entire match. But it's not looking very likely right now.
Well, it's either we have an incredibly interesting storyline with Johnson and Wells pulling off something amazing, or we're going to be treated to a map 3. So either way, there's content ahead.
Yep.
It's just a matter of whether it's the more painful of the two. Seekers in over towards A. That will initiate the execute for Long Island. And a bit of structure, a little bit of form here. Nikki is short caught out. Solsta at least will secure one trade, but still, considering the sort of, I guess, census that we've seen so far, it hasn't exactly fared very well for Johnson and Wales. This is the same situation. Still a res available, though. We're going to not actually wait for it before popping that orbital strike, but, I mean, hey, at least they don't have to worry about a res now. Totoro is going to be next up, though, trying to push in through elbow. Meanwhile, their teammate is nowhere to be found. Totoro has to fully rotate around. This is so discombobulated, and the time is not there as well. Just chalk it up. Long Island, they're looking clean on split, and they'll finish it up with just a couple of scratches after some strange rounds from Johnson and Wales. And hey, it's not going to be the comeback triad, but it's the stranger of two options, and that's the fact that we're going to be seeing a third map tonight.
I mean, honestly, props to the side of Long Island for resetting that mental after that first map, because it wasn't looking good, and they made it into the second map looking pretty good from the beginning, right? Those pistol rounds going their way. But it's after that first performance, we were thinking, okay, they win that pistol round, maybe they win that second, but surely Johnson and Wells will wake up with those rifles and do something about it. And it's something that we just kept waiting and waiting for. It never really happened. They never found the answer with different positions that they were taking across the map, but never enough to guarantee and to shut down Long Island. Long Island was just having a feast in that entire map, always having the advantage of every single positioning to take control, as we saw on the defense, and I mean, really turning out to be perfect for them.
Yeah, and it just kind of comes down to the fact that, hey, this isn't the same team that we saw on map 1. Breeze might have just kind of been a fluke. It's going to be, well, I mean, really the onus will be on them for us to kind of see that isn't the case. But we're going to have to see. Again, there is still one more map to go, and that will be Ascent. We'll see you on the other side, but we're going to be taking a quick break for now. And when we return, again, it's Ascent. Let's see how this finishes.
Real big, y'all offer too little, sorry, my soul is real big. Coming into the ring with blows, that's real big. I gotta do it big, that's the only way I can live.
What will you like today? Another Cloud 2 classic?
I'll stick with the usual. Maybe take a little bit off the sides.
Oh, that's fresh.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Hey, watch your head. What sound experience would you like today?
I'll have the fantasy pack.
Good choice.
And could you make it a Cloud 2 wireless?
On his way, sir.
Sounds amazing.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Ain't accept and ignore, just kicking down all the doors. Guarantee you, boy, if I ask for it, it's gotta be real big. I gotta make it just for my kids and for their kids' kids. That's wealth years and years. Promise my brother soon as he out and finished his bid, we finna do it bigger than anybody ever did. The odds is real big, jobs that's real big. Satan trying a little, my God is real big. Stayed up on the grind on the cars is real big. I gotta do it big, the only way that I can live.
Hey man, I just can't find a comfortable headset. I mean, I've tried everything. Literally everything.
Sheesh, my brother. I got you.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
That is comfortable.
Y'all think too small, I got big dreams. You just starting, I'm way ahead at the end scenes. Started reading and dodging all of the quick schemes. Money like your Spotify, boy, I got 10 streams. And I'm still looking for more. My people, they got a sore, I'm putting that on the Lord. Ain't accept and ignore, just kicking down all the doors. Guarantee you, boy, if I ask for it, it's gotta be real big. I gotta make it just for my kids and for their kids' kids. That's wealth years and years. Promise my brother soon as he out and finished his bid, we finna do it bigger than anybody ever did. The odds is real big, jobs that's real big. Satan trying a little, my God is real big. Stayed up on the grind on the cars is real big. I gotta do it big, the only way that I can live. And I promise I'm trying to. Before you count me out, homie, let me remind you. They was blocking the shine, now I think it's my time to. Counting them dollar signs like lights, they'll blind you. Let me rewind to back when I was broke and I couldn't acquire 2 cents. And now I got 2 rents. They was sleeping on me, homie, must have got too big. Call my phone, I be like, who this? Damn right, hell yeah, I'm brand new. Smell like can too. I'm fresh forever like canned food. Try and tell me what I can't do. I wanna see the world, my vision on Shamu. That mean I got goals that's real big, foes that's real big. Y'all offer too little, sorry, my soul is real big. Coming into the ring with blows that's real big. I gotta do it big, that's the only way I can live.
What will you like today? Another Cloud 2 classic?
I'll stick with the usual. Maybe take a little bit off the sides.
Oh, that's fresh.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Hey, watch your head. What sound experience would you like today?
I'll have the fantasy pack.
Good choice.
And could you make it a Cloud 2 wireless?
On his way, sir.
Sounds amazing.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Ain't accept and ignore, just kicking down all the doors. Guarantee you, boy, if I ask for it, it's gotta be real big. I gotta make it just for my kids and for their kids' kids. That's wealth years and years. Promise my brother soon as he out and finished his bid, we finna do it bigger than anybody ever did. The odds is real big, jobs that's real big. Satan trying a little, my God is real big. Stayed up on the grind on the cars is real big. I gotta do it big, the only way that I can live.
Hey man, I just can't find a comfortable headset. I mean, I've tried everything. Literally everything.
Sheesh, my brother. I got you.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
That is comfortable.
Y'all think too small, I got big dreams. You just starting, I'm way ahead at the end scenes. Started reading and dodging all of the quick schemes. Money like your Spotify, boy, I got 10 streams. And I'm still looking for more. My people, they got a sore, I'm putting that on the Lord. Ain't accept and ignore, just kicking down all the doors. Guarantee you, boy, if I ask for it, it's gotta be real big. I gotta make it just for my kids and for their kids, just kids. That's wealth years and years. Promise my brother soon as he out to finish this bid, we finna do it bigger than anybody ever did. The odds is real big, jobs that's real big. Satan trying a little, my God is real big. Stayed up on the grind on the cars is real big. I gotta do it big, the only way that I can live. And I promise I'm trying to. Before you count me out, homie, let me remind you. They was blocking the shine, now I think it's my time to. Counting them dollar signs like lights, they'll blind you. Let me rewind to back when I was broke and I couldn't acquire 2 cents. And now I got 2 rents. They was sleeping on me, homie, must have got too big. Call my phone, I be like, who this? Damn right, hell yeah, I'm brand new. Smell like can too. I'm fresh forever like canned food. Try and tell me what I can't do. I wanna see the world, my vision on Shamu. That mean I got goals that's real big, foes that's real big. Y'all offer too little, sorry, my soul is real big. Coming into the ring with blows that's real big. I gotta do it big, that's the only way I can live.
What will you like today? Another Cloud 2 classic?
I'll stick with the usual. Maybe take a little bit off the sides.
Oh, that's fresh.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Hey, watch your head. What sound experience would you like today?
I'll have the fantasy pack.
Okay, Dryad. So I have a coin flip website on my other monitor here as well. By the way, you know what? Let's do the introduction first. Welcome back. My name is Ita. I'm joined by Dryad. This is ECAC Week 8. And the game that we have gotten so far has been a coin flip on who has been winning. It was a stomp on map 1 and then a stomp on map 2 just for the complete other side. And we have no idea what's going to happen. So let's go ahead and go back to my main point here. I have a coin flip website.
Okay.
Which team is heads? Which team is tails? We're going to decide who wins. This will be our official predictions.
Okay, we'll say heads is Long Island.
Okay. Heads is Long Island. So, personally, I think Long Island is going to win this game. I don't know, just something about the atmosphere, maybe what they ate for dinner, whatever they've been talking about during this break. I'm feeling Long Island right now. D1 athlete, although he's been fighting off hordes of parents and apparently a dog just to go ahead and not have internet issues, maybe they'll overcome it all and then pop off after winning this collegiate match. Anything can happen, Dryad. But in all seriousness, let's get down to brass tacks. We're going to be seeing Ascent. It's going to be a fun decider. What are you expecting from this?
I feel like a little bit more of what we saw that first map, the Serenas make a lot more sense in Ascent to be played, the Jets as well, and the value that you were able to get with the operator. So I know that for very analytical reasons, you said Long Island, but I'm going to say Johnson and Well here because the composition that they play into the Breeze is going to play very well if they're able to make it a lot similar into this last map. And I'm talking about the operator kills that were going absolutely insane in the hands of the Jet, the Reyna as well, and the way that they were initiating. And this is a factor that we couldn't really see much of in Split, and that might have been the reason why we saw Jensen and Wales slowing down so much. I mean, at least one of the reasons.
So you're calling them an op one trick. I see how it is.
I'm not saying, I'm saying it helps. Okay.
Sure. All right. Yeah, go ahead and clip that and then I'll see what the audience has to say about it.
Yeah, but don't clip the coin flip, right?
No, this is a very scientific reason that personally I just kind of felt that Long Island were going to win more than Johnson and Wales,
Check the stats.
Check the stats.
Oh, that.
Yeah, okay. Well, this makes things interesting, though. Our predictions are on opposing sides of each other, and it's going to come down to Ascent, which I think is just like the most plain map that you can probably get. The most even map, maybe is a better word for it. So what comps are we going to be seeing? Is the Astra going to be pulled out again? Or are we going to be seeing the Brimmy Stimmy? What can we expect?
Even in the role of the Sentinels, which it feels like we haven't gotten the chance to talk about too much. This is the map where we see a lot of that killjoy utility that's kind of a nightmare to deal with, especially if it's on the default that goes into that B side. It's so annoying to deal with, but it's an opening that everyone here is going to be looking for in the defense. So I wouldn't say why not. It's a killjoy that we haven't seen today. Can be a possibility for this one, and yeah, is already going to be locked on the side of Long Island. Makes sense.
Nice. I love to see it. The KJ, I think, is just such a... It's so fitting for this map as well.
It really is.
Dude, the Sova, yeah, I think we're going to be seeing a lot of Sova as well. The KJ, yeah, okay. So, pretty standard. We haven't seen any surprises. I don't know. I was kind of expecting, like, more Reyna. I'm surprised they brought it out only on Breeze, and I've shied away from it since. Side swapping will be Johnson and Wales starting as defenders this time, which is also something maybe interesting of note, considering they've been on the attacking side of both Breeze and Split. But yeah, this is just about as generic as you can get.
It's also going to be a little bit concerning on the side of Long Island that the enemy team is going to start on the defense, and they have a really good Jet player that can shine a lot in the early rounds, can use a Marshall, can use the operator like we got to see before, and really make a difference for this defensive side and how much it can go on the side of Johnson and Wells. So it's a positioning that I'm looking forward to, especially because Long Island here locking the Reyna at the end for the duelist.
Are they doing double Sentinel on Johnson and Wales? The Cypher KJ?
Yeah.
That's peculiar. Huh. Well, are you sure you don't want to, like, go ahead and change your prediction or anything? I'm not going to say this is a terrible pick. I mean, it could work, but I'm liking the Long Island comp here.
It might be... I feel like this Johnson and Wells... You know, I'm going to say the composition is fine. Because you're going to have... Yeah. You can position one Sentinel on A, one Sentinel on B. You position the Jet in mid, and it's just great.
This copium is amazing. This copium. Oh, it's so good.
No, you'll see how well is going to play. This is the defensive comp. This is the new meta.
Yeah, this is the defensive comp. But then what do you do on attack? You're screwed. You have nothing.
No, you win every round on defense.
But it's going to be a 12-12 stalemate is what you're saying.
No, you just don't get it.
Okay, maybe you're right. Yeah, I know. I'm not like the other casters out there. I make my predictions by coin flip only. Yeah, okay. Well, let's see how this pans out. They're running right into the Cypher as well. This is incredibly unique, to say the very least. That drone, or dart, excuse me, won't spot my uranium whatsoever, so those one-ways, rather, could completely play into their favor. And hey, look at this. They're slowing down Long Island. We're going to go ahead and chill, have a nice iced tea, maybe fall back, grab the orb as well. And something that I think we didn't really touch on much as well is the fact that Mini Drones is playing on that Reyna, which is a nice pick. I don't hate it.
I mean, it's going to be difficult to execute. You really need the support of your team. And for Long Island, one of the concerns that we saw when they were on the attacking side was that they were losing so many members early on that by the time the duelists actually wanted to take that side control, you didn't have one initiator or one controller to take advantage of. But okay, so far, so good. The Jet or the Sky being able to get away with it.
But they're trying to flank. They're trying to get creative, and that was so big before when I said they need to navigate around the map and explore every crevice just to make sure that really they're all down to brass tacks. They all knew what they were doing here. Fights are completely and utterly staggered, though, seemingly all over the place, and it comes down to a 2v3. soon to be a 1v3. I don't see mini drones living for that much longer, especially when there's an Omen who wants that more than anything. Solsta will find the killing blow, and it's B-Man alone. Spike not planted in his favor. He's going to have to win a ton of fights, and he's just nearly missed out on the third. Totoro will finish him off. And
That was
another
so
pistol,
close.
huh?
Yeah. So Jensen and Wells are going to get away with it, and it's so interesting. I like how they challenge the way that we're processing this information and these agents, right? Because I mentioned, so you're gonna have one Sentinel on A, one Sentinel on B, and they have such a defensive composition that for Jensen and Wells just makes sense for them to win, especially the early rounds before the duels actually start to take place properly. But they ended up still playing a post-plant scenario, and in the last second, it ended up going their way. So it's still looking very even, and it's Long Island that is trying new things. They were trying our rotation early on. They're going to try to be as quiet as possible as the information goes their way towards A. And only a Cypher on that side, but dealing with a util kind of a nightmare.
Certainly a bit of one. All quiet on the western front. That's the second time, mate. Twice in a row. Only had a classic, so it's not like they're getting the most glorious bounties for being able to take him down from Cat, but these are incredibly rough duels, and out of nowhere, Long Island, mind you, they were only on classics. It might just be death by 1,000 cuts. It's a 2v2, bleeding internally as well will be Myranium. This is not looking maybe as free as they would have hoped, and that's why you have to invest every last dollar. That being said, they just might win it out at the end. It's Totoro up against mini drones here. And Classic versus Spectre, personally, I'd favor the Spectre. And there's no Spectre, I think, on the ground anywhere to be retrieved. There's a Ghost. Maybe the next best thing. 20 seconds left, and they'll book it over towards B. Spectre picked up as well. Are they going to try to meet in the middle? No. Actually committing to that spike plant.
10 seconds left.
Anything can happen at this point here. Mini drones has effectively maneuvered the map
Spike planted.
and went into their own domain. Totoro, what's your response?
The Killjoy util was exactly on the other side where the Reyna was trying to plant the spike, so it never really get activated and it never really challenges this position here. Right. Reyna has to be a little bit more careful.
And has to be careful on Totoro.
Right.
Might not be looking the right directions. There'll be mini drones to win it out. A 1v2, I believe it was. In order for Long Island to snatch that one away. Hell of a way to get on the board, too. And look, I'm not going to lie to you. It was pretty messy, but it's around nonetheless. Long Island would certainly take that. Johnson and Wales don't have much in the way of economy to look forward to whatsoever. There's Juice, who's going to be able to buy up a Marshall half armor. That's about it.
Yeah, I want to see the last couple decisions here in the economy for Johnson and Wells. Not too great after that one. Was looking towards buying a Phantom, but will decide to try to go to at least a half buy coming in for this defensive team. Into now, a little bit of a changing narrative on the attacking side, trying to get some info towards B. And now they have the other Sentinel to deal with. And this one might be a little bit more annoying too, because you're going to have the Killjoy and you're going to have the Omen playing so close. They're taking the damage as well. Nova with his first bloods that he's been able to get. Absolutely insane.
Yeah, they have been getting as much value with this, I think, as possible. So good on them. That's going to do them a ton of good in the later stages of this game. As for now, yeah, it's just farming. Not much to write home about whatsoever. This is where things get significantly more interesting, though. If we press tab, yeah, look at that. The economy's looking a lot more bountiful on either side. Johnson and Wales, they'll have the rifles that they could hope for. And I think now is a good time for them to maybe start shifting their position. Personally, I'm not a fan whatsoever of how Juice is playing this. I think B would be a much more optimal location for them. I mean, honestly, if they just swap positions between this Omen and this Sova, I'd be way
I mean, that's
happier.
where the Sova is often located, right towards the B side, with an Odin, if anything, and just being disruptive as much as possible, trying to get information they can capitalize on, because even if you try to get away and try to deny that information on the attacking side, you're going to find the KillJWU tools. It's a really nice way to make it work out. But on the other side, a little bit of map control that the defense is trying to get, especially on the hands of this Jet, as Long Island now look for another of those A pushes, try to find the Cypher, but not close enough. Oh, misses it.
Yeah, not getting really any information from the two drones that they used. Awkward spam back and forth. It's actually something Johnson and Wales are just absolutely farming off of, isn't it? Again, incredibly messy. Don't go ahead and think anything else of it, but Johnson and Wales, that's a really huge round for them.
Last second paranoia to make sure that no one else gets taken down, especially those rifles don't get taken down in an economy that is not the greatest here on the side of Johnson and Wales. So being able to save those is going to be the most valuable thing that they can get away with. So 2-2. And now it's a little bit more of a balance, right? First map being so one-sided, second one a little bit too. Now it's right in the middle. Is a 2-2. It's a situation where any decision that you make in terms of what utility you're going to buy and what ultimates you're going to use, especially on the side of Long Island, is going to guarantee who is, at the end of the day, able to get away with the rounds. And the information game and stuff right now seems to be everything for Long Island. They really need this round.
It's big for them, but mind you, we also kind of saw a similar situation towards the beginning of Split, where teams, where both teams, excuse me, were just kind of neck and neck for a while, but then slowly and surely Long Island just really started getting away with it, so it could happen again. That's my copium for Long Island. But yeah, as for now, it has been just about as even as you can imagine. This is a pretty staggered push outside of B here, but they have the players in. KJ lockdown will be used behind it, but they're not spending all the time that they could to force them into these awkward locations. They're going before that lockdown is even fully utilized, and look at how much they're suffering because of it. Sure, they get a detain, and sure, Novacorium is going to farm behind it, but Nikki is sure has done their part. They're not clearing it! No way! You gotta make sure to check your corners!
Oh,
at least
that is
it works
one
out.
corner that you have to check. That is the one corner where people are always hiding. I mean, at the end of the day, Long Island, they get away with that round, but that was a messy round for them at the end. There's so many losses. The KillJWU utility seems like could be getting so much more value. And at the end, getting denied. So Long Island capitalizing from any small opportunity. It really, I can't believe it came to that 1v1.
I just think it's so poetic in a way that between the games, we were talking with our producer, and he's like, yeah, I've been enjoying this game so far, but I noticed they haven't been checking their corners a lot. Case in point right there. It's just... it's ridiculous to see how it just works out in real time. I don't know. Let's not harp on the point too much here. Johnson and Wales, they're trying to make up for it with that early kill into this next round. Plenty of ultimates are starting to stack up as well, Dryad. I think that's worth noting.
For Long Island, they had quite a lot that we saw early on, and quite a lot they can continue to capitalize from, right? We talked about the Hunter's Fury, for example, and the information. But look at this. Yeah, like you said, pushing. Johnson and Wales is going to try to pretty much completely surround what Long Island wants to do, and the time is running out. The decision making, it has to happen now.
This is really nice, though. They've effectively kind of corralled them into going this direction. Sure, they can back out like they are right now, but they're going to hear it all. They'll have the heads up on basically whatever next move that Long Island want to make.
30 seconds left.
That being said, they need to go ahead and have the firepower behind it. Nikki is short, has a pretty tall order on their hands. Try to keep them in as long as possible. Solsta will let them pass. They don't want to have to give up their advanced positioning in the smoke here, but they could be rewarded with so much if they make it happen. Mini drones, they get their one. Time is of the essence as well. They need to start moving quickly. In addition, they also need to win their fights. Everybody left alive at this point has an ultimate, so be liberal with your utility. Do something, but you need some sort of winning moment. D1 athlete. It's him against the world here. It's a 1v3, his position given away by the Cypher as well. D1 athlete, what do you have for us? First kill, traded out right after. Not nearly enough. That's what they have.
It feels like towards the beginning, in general, the spike shouldn't have been planted. The numbers were going the set of Johnson and Wells. They had all the map control, but the one key movement that made things different was that Nikki had the opportunity to go either from mid to B or go directly to B, where he was already on the flank. He already had the positioning. He decided to get mid, and that just enabled the side of Long Island to plant the spike. There was no one on site. Nikki had enough time to make it happen. Yes, they won the round, but it's more economies, more money going to side of Long Island, which is over and over again what you're trying to shut down. So far, we have managing to do it. We see a Marshall, we see those ghosts in the hands of the Long Island players, as they are now, they keep switching around, and it's not so much of the defaults that we've seen, but a little bit of the same thing over and over again. Is either a full A push or a B that happens very early, as we already get to see.
Well, yeah, and it looks like it's going to be repeating itself again, right? Quick push in over towards B, and well, a stomp. I gotta say, that being said, I know they're working with lesser equipment right now, Long Island, but they have been completely ground down by Johnson and Wales for the most part. Only now are they fighting back. Came at the point of Solsta, I believe it was, hitting a couple of nice shots, or B-Man rather, hitting a couple of nice shots, but this is still anybody's round, and it feels incredibly strange. I have to say that Solsta pushes up, misses a single knife. They needed to hit that one. B-Man. I mean, talk about getting victory from the jaws to defeat there. I don't know. They're like very mangled jaws. Like the teeth are all, you know, there's one going this way, one going the other way. It was a little bit awkward, but that's kind of been the game so far. It's been scrappy as all hell, but enjoyable to watch kind of because of that.
It's been a lot more intense, especially into those late rounds where the positioning reveal was doing everything. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, time running out, and not even the Blade Storm can do enough for that round. Another one of those Marshall early rounds that we tried to see into this one so far, not connecting, having to play back on the attacking side, but there it is.
There we go. The Marshalls, man. The Marshalls!
Marshalls!
God, I mean, obviously we've seen more Marshall than Operator this series, but I feel like even frag-wise, whenever the Operator is brought out, it just pales in comparison to the Marshall. Something about that gun is just nasty on both map 1 and map 3 right here. Talk about a huge win this would be for Johnson and Wales as well. They don't really have anything going for them in this round economy-wise. It means so much to them, and Juice is making it happen. I mean, that's 3
Pushing
kills.
in?
And he's pushing. No, don't get too close to the sun, mate. You might burn up. You have a dart. Use them. Come on, you have util. Be a Sova. Oh, goodness. Especially since Spike is stuck here, too. Nova, Corium.
Nowhere to run, though.
Much more awkward.
Yeah. Even athlete. Have nowhere to run. Completely surrounded. The last couple kills will go instead of Johnson and Wells, and they're clean up this round. A thrifty 1-2. It all started with the Marshall, and it also was able to end up with the Marshall a little bit at the end, enabling the space to be controlled by the defense. And this is something that you mentioned a couple times, right? The map control. It's the biggest key for success in so many of these rounds, and it seems like Johnson and Wells are slowly trying to understand it, still making it look even, still going for those thrifty rounds and those picks. That the problem here is that you can't rely on getting a kill with the Marshall every single time, right? So it is now Long Island's turn to try the same thing.
Well, if they have the same sharp shooting, they could certainly find themselves maybe in an advantageous position. All grouped up towards the top of mid, however. This isn't optimal, I'll put it that way. Keeping one player watching B main, another watching A main, which I actually think they had going for a little while there, probably is a little bit more of the vibe, more of the energy they should go for. I think they're going to try to split up through mid here behind a couple of flashes. I don't hate the idea, but they're going to be in for a very harsh surprise when they realize that Solsta hasn't been cleared out. He's going to be effectively corralled out of position here. Trade 1-for-1 over towards Catwalk. There's still more where that came from. Myranium is next up, and he will take a couple too many fights. Solsta as well is going to be able to take a couple of fights, winning them both. It's a 1v3, and Nova Corium won't be able to do anything. Johnson and Wales, they kind of struggle for the beginning portions of that round, but finally it all goes in their favor once they stabilize themselves.
So some might be finally back online. We haven't seen much of this yet towards the beginning, but now getting the 3K, and also it all started with such an aggressive position towards mid, where no one was really able to contest him in time, had to back up, had to get those kills, and it really went the way that they wanted to. So now, this is the momentum that Salsa has been waiting for. He's been waiting for that operator to be in his hands. Has it now, has the numbers as well in terms of rounds going for his team, and is a perfect opportunity for them to contest good information as well early on.
A couple of pings with the Hunter's Fury, and then they counter from DJ Mandude. Neither of them being that effective. Attacker Killjoy use their... Okay, they're just going to use a lockdown right behind it as well. This is an incredibly messy and oddly paced fight, to be entirely honest. But if this is the execute that they want to go for, more power to them. They're eventually going to force down that spike plan. But now, what do you have going for you in the post plant? Absolutely nothing but your gunplay. Another lockdown use. Oh no, I love this from Totoro. If you follow those projectiles, they might hide in over towards Wine, and they might actually just get corralled into their own death right here. Gonna be eating the detained. Do they clear him? Yes, they do. Myranium is able to find 2, and that spike is being completely and totally stuck at this point. There is nothing that Long Island can do other than just eat it. That is why you have to discipline your ultimate usage.
It's at least, you know, if you're going to invest multiple of those ultimates in a single round, at least try to layer them instead of using them all at once, right? We see that lockdown coming in. In that lockdown, I do in a way understand the reasoning as to why it was used so early, right? Because the information was already gathered. We saw the Hunter's Fury coming in, the information that allowed Johnson and Wells to take even more map control. So the lockdown was trying to create a little bit of space, but then you use the orbital strike right at the same time, pretty much, and you have nothing to work with for when the spike is actually planted. Such a difficult situation here coming in for the side of Long Island to get away with that round. And Johnson and Wells, they already had the information that the solo is able to gather. They already had the positioning to work with. It was just a matter of finishing up those kills, which they're able to do just fine. So now 6 rounds coming in for them, and a timeout that we get to see on the side of Long Island, if, you know, trying to match the 6-6 ideally for that second half.
Would be nice. I just feel, yeah, to kind of harp on that point maybe a little bit longer, I feel like they could have done so much with that Brimstone ult as well, you know, that orbital strike. They could have either kept it for when the spike was planted, or they could have even comboed it with the KJ ult, so right towards the end, because you're inevitably going to have people just kind of like waiting at the very edge of the lockdown. That way they can get right back into safety. If you use it right as the lockdown's about to go off in that sort of safe zone, it could catch them out. Like there's a couple of things that they could have done, and they sort of chose neither. They chose the use it right in the middle of where your lockdown is, and they just got no value from it whatsoever. Again, not to harp on it for too long. I mean, there's still plenty of more rounds of play, and there's still plenty of more kills coming from Johnson and Wales that we can maybe focus on instead of boring ultimate usage. This is certainly a lot more fun. I like seeing heads getting shot. What can I say? I'm a caveman at heart. I like seeing people click on heads, but let's see if DJ Mandude can do the same. Maybe one-up Myranium. No, he can't. 6-6. Dan, or Dryad rather. I know you want to see a 6-6 half, but it's kind of impossible at this point.
It's not going to be possible anymore here, and I like the aggression. It's really catching the set of Long Island off guard over and over again, where you're not expecting the defense to be pushing so far, but for Johnson and Wells and the defense, this is the answer that they found to the questions that they had so early on, and it is working out, like you said, to a point where that 6-6 is not going to happen anymore. But they have all the advantage of the momentum to work with. This is exactly what they needed to. Going to play aggressive again, has to be traded, but not too bad to start it off. It already communicates with the team that there's at least one more waiting for the opportunity to strike.
They have a lockdown to play with. That gives them some potency. Smoke towards the top of mid as well coming through from Johnson and Wales. They don't seem to be trying to capitalize too much off of it. Wait a second. What is that? Okay, the quick teleport in for a while. From the shadows, excuse me, towards A main to see if they can get any info, but nothing found, nothing retrieved, and oh, they also just let off of their mid control as well. Look at this from Johnson and Wales. Peep at that radar and you'll see this is a very early commitment. Long Island have not made this their final destination. In fact, they're back out entirely, but they have no eyes on mid whatsoever. And this, again, maybe I harp on it a lot, but this is why map control is so important. They are none the wiser to it, and they're going to have to play super reactively. Luckily for them, though, there's a Killjoy lying in wait. Still has a cocktail of utility for them to look forward to.
Oh, but another lockdown there's going to be invested on the attacking side, trying to get the kills from the distance so far. I mean, working out.
Oh, that's a fight you just absolutely have to win, though. That has to be so brutal. Long Island now firmly in the driver's seat after this. DJ Mandu can just hold down B main all they wish. There's still a paranoia and a couple of smokes for Johnson and Wales to use, but that's just about it for their utility for this retake. D1 Athlete will punish one of the powerhouses of Myranian, who's gotten a number of multi-kills, but it's all going to be put to a halt right here. It's Solsta against the world. With an operator, knives in tow, they're going to have to start moving quickly. That clock's ticking. Solsta finds a second. It's a right click as well. Surely they don't make this work. The stall, the kill behind it. B-Man has won them that round. 7-5. Long Island, they still have a voice in this game.
It turns into something that we mentioned at the beginning, right? The side of Johnson and Wales had such a defensive composition that they needed to get multiple rounds, more than 7. And sure, 7 is the advantage, but 7 doesn't really seem to be enough, knowing that Long Island, they're now known for getting those pistol rounds too. They're able to do it to a high level as well, so we wouldn't see why the score couldn't be even again. And Johnson and Wales needed 8, 9, make it as one-sided as possible on the defense to have a chance on this attacking side too. Now, that is no longer going to be the case. Long Island have a pretty still hybrid composition to be able to balance how aggressive and how passive they want to play. We mentioned the Killjoy util, once again, being able to be positioned early on, and the information in the hands of Reyna that can also get some really nice kills for Long Island on this pistol round.
I didn't even think about the comp, but yeah, I know, you're totally right. It was something you talked about basically right at Agent Select. I still think, again, since this isn't the NAVCT, I mean, hey, they might be on their way. Still, anything can happen. The comp might not be the big killer, but certainly the undoing, the complete and utter collapse that is happening this pistol. I'll shut up. It could still go either way. Iranium and Totoro, last two standing. Both Sentinels. Manning from Johnson, Wales, and eventually it'll only come down to the Cypher. They're both completely and totally split up, though, and well, let's not go ahead and read into it too much. It's just a matter of hitting the shots at this point. Kill that turret. Get it over with. That Cam doesn't see Jack, however. They still need to retrieve that spike. Myranium needs to hit their shots just barely off. And Dryad, it's another pistol that comes down to 1v1 when it was just looking so unlikely.
Pistol rounds. Yeah, pistol rounds are so interesting the more that we got to see them, right? From first map to this last map to this third map, you guarantee how everything will go. It's a perfect opportunity to get a little bit more, and we definitely see the pressure that Johnson and Wales is having, forcing a couple of the Spectres, one of those Marshals, trying to make things even. We already saw it in the first half. It was a 1-1 to start it off. They need to try to do it again. It's a composition that needs a change, needs an aggressive opportunity for them to engage. And as of right now, the aggression not really getting too much. And from the distance, those electric darts still trying to get something information. I don't know if the Cam was able to spot DJ.
Well, if not, I think like the tracer from that bullet probably did them in. Oh yeah, they know exactly where.
You definitely know. Yep.
Echo in on his position. That being said, he has backup. There's still options, and look at that. Johnson Will is actually watching their back. They're punishing a push that happened towards top mid, making this actually a bit more even. Look at the HP from Long Island too. This actually isn't impossible for Johnson and Wales to win. I know they have a couple of players hurting on their own too, but don't exactly call this quits for either side just yet. Don't let that artillery disadvantage maybe catch you off here. And speaking of being caught off, Mini Drones was dangerously close to being stuck while reloading. It just might happen again. Nikki is short, closing the distance as Solsta gets a kill elsewhere on the map. That's over towards Catwalk. And this could still go anywhere. Spike is kind of lounging in market right now. Actually might end up going towards B. They're just waiting for a kill at the moment, but time is of the essence. They don't have a lot of it. If they go in towards B, oh god, they don't have any time whatsoever. What are they doing? Go! They don't have time. They don't have time. They actually don't have time.
I mean, I was wondering what B-Man was doing all the way back while the action was taking place on site, but now I fully understand. Truly, it just a very messy situation that turns into running out of time into very unexpected ways. And again, Long Island, I saw the Killjoy playing all the way back, playing here in this boathouse and hoping to make it move. But wow,
it was a 4v1.
Yeah, it was the numbers. It was the. You know, we saw some information early on. It seems like it was going to be pushed. At least it was going to be a quick rotation, but this is just not something that should be happening.
It's brutal. And it just kind of adds to something maybe we haven't talked about a lot, but B-Man has been absolutely farming this game. I believe they're like 19 or 18 and 8 at the moment. And that's not even counting the 1v4 that they technically just pulled off. Yeah, look at that, 18 and 8. Not, again, counting that 1v4 that they got simply by existing, but, you know, Long Island have had some of these pieces that need to wake up. Wake up! They've done exactly what they needed, have the ignition going. Now they actually need to do something with it, because Johnson and Wales, they still have plenty of firepower on their squad as well, and they are farming for a good amount of kills. A 2v4, as that Spike will get down, this time within a very reasonable time as well. 42 seconds on the clock as it goes down.
So 4v2 to deal with here. The kill will be able to connect here with Juice, who was playing all the way back. Now the opportunities could be fading away, trying to connect the last opportunities into Long Island's hopes to get ahead. They haven't been able to do so in this map. They've been so close, they've made it even, but when time is running out, the opportunities also fade away, and Johnson and Wells, they will be getting away with this round. The Spike goes off.
Enemy remaining.
Yep, just about. Some pretty heavy damage sustained though on Johnson and Wales, so it's not going to be the free lunch you're hoping for. They can still rebuy without issue, and Long Island, they can't exactly echo that same sentiment. B-Man will be the only one with the gun saved. So, I don't know. Dryad, what do you think is the move here? Do you stack maybe B-Man alone towards the site and just hope they farm and then have the other 4, you know, go off on their merry way and try to find kills, or something else?
Yeah, I mean, on the side of Long Island, right, they need a round, and it seems like they're always playing those catch-up games because of the strategy itself that is being played. And yeah, I mean, it happens again. It's a little bit of everything that is playing into them. We see the numbers, and we see the time that sometimes doesn't really allow them to get the kills that they're needed to. So now Johnson and Wells going for a mid push, trying to make it work. The Reina being able to respond right away, and a little bit more support that is coming her way.
This is looking nice. Long Island. Oh, I mean, really, I fought back a decent amount. Novacorium. Unfortunately, that bird needs to be put down. It wasn't. Oh, that happened again. Been there. I swear those things are nigh impossible to control. A drone out in the middle of nowhere finds DJ Mandu dead. And another reasonably planted spike, too. Around that 45-second mark in the past few rounds is where we can reasonably expect Johnson and Wales to start getting themselves onto the site. So keep an eye on that time frame as well, because if things deviate from that plan, things get generally a bit more awkward. But it's not over for Long Island, mind you. B-Man is still alive. That man has farmed plenty around. Okay, well, he's dead. Yeah, this is not looking good.
Turns into a single one to take care of Nova. Last opportunity, time running out, 39 HP. It just doesn't seem to be his round, yeah. Going to try to save, going to try to go for those accident frags as well, but not even that he'll be able to get here. So Spike, once again, goes off. And another round here that Johnson and Wales is able to get from getting multiple trades towards the beginning and just finishing it off with the spike planted into a site that was pretty much clear for them to conquer. It was Long Island in the long rotations coming in one by one, and this is something that honestly for both teams we haven't really seen much of. Maybe we saw it in Split when it was a full team trying to retake a site. But in this map and in Breeze, it just hasn't been a topic of conversation. It's just everyone trying to get their individual duels to hopefully go their way. And for Johnson and Wells, they're coming up on the better side of it.
It's rough because of that, too. Johnson and Wales, after that collapse from them that we saw on map 2, have started fighting back. This has been certainly the most competitive map so far. I mean, the scoreline itself suggests that, but even more so, it's just Long Island. Think about the highs and lows that you've experienced this series, and now it's kind of starting to get torn away from you. This series,
yeah.
I mean, sure, it could still go either way. The round differential isn't that massive, but especially peering at that economy, you start thinking about what sort of choices do you have to make here. Novacorium probably going to be sitting on that judge. Where would you want him? I probably want him over towards Catwalk. Maybe he won't go there. This is where roles and positions start getting a little bit messy, and they need to keep this sort of thing in mind. Because right now, Johnson and Wales, again, they haven't had to exactly revolutionize the playbook here, despite them having 2 Sentinels on attack. They've just been able to kind of keep up this slow pace, and they've been rewarded time and again.
We talk about those double Sentinel as well, but another point here is that we saw Johnson and Wells on that first map where they were performing so well, playing this operator and playing this attacking operator. That, you know, it's not the most common thing to see. It's not the most favorable thing every single time. But Johnson and Wells, they already made it work once. They're going to try it again. They already got a first pick to work with. And it's a good positioning to take advantage of. Yeah, we continue to see it every single time. A single opening pick just turns into something so much bigger to work with. In Long Island, they got nothing. 2 members.
Yeah, I mean, Long Island are just feeding it to them. And then they start exploring. Then they start pushing in. And it is a flawless round with absolutely just 0 life on Long Island. It's like that pause actually did them worse. I don't know. There was a lot of pretty questionable decisions there from the dry peaks that they were taking, but I think if I had to point to one, it was Novacorium over towards B. They were stuck in over towards Logs. They got flashed by Nikki is short, and then they just ended up dry peaking right into their own demise. Now, look, good shot by Nikki is short and all, but you know, you're Sky. If there's anybody that I trust to flash out and be able to get away from position, it's either you or Jet. Like, just flash out and maybe give yourself a better chance of surviving, or just tuck in and hide, force the enemy to commit. It's, you know, they are trying to get a little bit aggressive on this defensive end, but it's completely at the wrong times and when they're at a disadvantage. And that's what's been hurting them a lot.
Kept them killed.
Yeah, the Arena able to get away, able to get out of that positioning, but still, the kills and waiting for the right opportunity to connect those kills. Johnson and Wales, they are just finding the answer. They found the formula that was working out, and even the trades are going to connect Juice. I mean, he's gonna feel pretty good about those 3 kills too.
Yeah, and it's important too who gets those kills. I'm not quite sure how many ultimate points he had before this round started, but one thing that I think is so seldom talked about but is important is who gets the kills on rounds when you're against pistols, because it can do a lot of favor for you when you're trying to build up momentum and actually try to build up those ultimates as well, right? Depending on who gets those kills.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now they have a Hunter's Fury. Because Solsta also got a kill there, they have the Blade Storm. A lot of options open up for them to close out this game right here, right now.
That's even more post-plant benefits that Johnson and Wells can take, and they have been planting the spike over and over again. They've been able to get away with positionings just from the early pick that happens. Last round, it was the operator connecting perfectly, and it can also continue to be just that. It's Johnson and Wells forcing post-plant scenarios where Long Island, they cannot get into any sort of positioning. So there it is, Long Island. The response has to be playing aggressive. Good opening pick here, but a little bit more is still going to be needed. The sky going very, very low.
Incredibly low, yeah. Just a little bit of confusion over towards B main as well. They're a little bit stacked up on each other's angles, so it wasn't exactly the easiest job. But Long Island, this is their most promising scenario that we've seen for a while. This is their round to lose at this point. And they certainly could. They're still playing for picks. This is around the time. Also, keep an eye on that timer. You know, this is the point where Johnson and Wales would probably start setting up for an execute. And I don't know. I think at this point, Long Island should just respect the space and give them it. Allow them to execute, and then they can go ahead and retake, having full advantage.
Yeah.
Flash in.
And it's something that we haven't seen much of, that respect coming in and to want to play those post ones.
No chance.
Oh, is it going to turn into even more?
Oh, no. Yeah, this is absolutely brutal. They're actually going to be able to make this into a full-on execute. That's a fight D1 athlete need to win. Unfortunately, he's looking like a D3 athlete if he's going to be losing those. DJ Mandude.
Spotted.
Also victim of the Sova ults. You have the Killjoy lockdown being utilized, but for what? What are you going to be doing behind this? There's no big plan behind this one, B-Man. You haven't even broken the door down. It's not going to force him out of position. Okay, maybe it will get Jews, but it's still in 2v2. Solsta finds his first, and the second one position's given away, but he doesn't quite find the kill. Why are you using Hunter's Fury, sir? You don't have the time of day! No! Johnson and Wales, they get the 12. It's unfortunate, that's for sure.
Did they think the last player was towards one? I mean, it really seems like that was the case for the Hunter's Fury to be used, especially in such a risky positioning. But things that shouldn't happen, and even a little bit of misinformation that could have gone into investing in ultimate, that crucial, right? It's a Hunter's Fury that you want to use to cancel a plan or to use a little bit of it for information. And Johnson and Wells, I mean, they're on the better side of it once again. One more run for them to take this, and so much utility that they have, so much economy. They've been winning finally those rounds in a row that they've been waiting for.
Yeah, the momentum in their favor, the ultimates, the eco. Not to mention, this is also for playoffs, right? This means so much to them. So yeah, go ahead, use that orbital strike, cancel out that lockdown, give yourselves the best possible chance of being able to win this round and book your ticket to playoffs. They're gonna need it. But a backup from Johnson and Wales. This isn't their final destination. Maybe it was all just a ploy to get that orbital strike out of them. Who knows? Either way, mini drones gonna respect it for now. We'll back up. Again, if you peep at that radar, you'll notice maybe they are having second thoughts, but they've split up. Now they're starting to get a bit more variety. There's a player coming in from Catwalk who is being watched, mind you. That's DJ Mandude. He has to be good for this kill, and he is. Finally something going the way of Long Island. Still a couple of tools for executes, but this is, again, that timer I talked about. This is when Johnson and Wales usually start actually making their move in. They need to make this one work.
30 seconds left.
So 5v4 here, and yeah, the time is going to run out. The opportunities could be fading away into this one. Long Island, all members alive, but that doesn't mean that they can win the round. The kills are everything. And so far, not going their way. A little bit of trades time. Only 10 seconds, and it seems like finally they find the answer.
Yeah, and there's no time either. Spike is down in the middle of nowhere. The wrong person in the wrong place. Myranium He can't be pathing that way, even to close the door. Excuse me. It's going to lead to his demise, and 8 rounds for Long Island. They stay alive, but at what cost? So much damage done, where even though they won the round, they're still at a pretty terrible disadvantage.
I mean, look at the amount of rounds that the Jensen and Wells were winning. It was 5 rounds in a row. That means that the economy is continuing to thrive. They can still buy the operator in the hands of Solstad. That has been doing quite a lot for the post plan that we already got the chance to talk about. Long Island, it's still, you know, light shields, not in the best positioning to work with, and that is why this positioning in the map that has to be everything. 2 members into the B side already getting spotted, can be traded at least, but not even going to be the case.
Yeah, Novacorium, unfortunately, that's a position where if you're going to play, you need to have some backup in the form of someone over towards, well, market, but usually like defensive spawn or something, but they were all alone. I can't exactly fault them from dying in that position. Luckily, B-Man seems to be picking up the slack. They need to do more, though. 1 kill's not quite enough. A teleport in towards the back of Boathouse, too. And it's looking incredibly good for Johnson and Wales to close this one out. And with a shot from Solst to hit, might be the best shot of the day, getting in that entry late.
That was clean.
Well, let's see if they can do it again. Close this out in style. It's a 1v4. DJ Mandude has had a lot of depressing moments being on the losing end as a Sova. But maybe, just maybe, they have it in them. It's 1 kill, 3 more to find, and he took down the Star Solsta. Paranoia in. That buys so much time, doesn't it? It's all crumbling down. Johnson and Wales, welcome to playoffs. You've officially booked your ticket. Well deserved at that. It was an incredibly long series. I don't think anyone can tell you otherwise. But the highs and lows after going down, what was it, 13-5 on split? It feels well deserved after how they performed on Breeze, right?
Absolutely. I mean, we saw that first map, and it was clear that Johnson and Wales had all the momentum going exactly the way that they wanted to, but starting on the attacking side and split, slowed the momentum, losing the pistol round, and it was just not really looking too good for them. But finding after so many rounds, because it was the closest map, at least finding the answers once again that they needed to so bad. So Johnson and Wells, they get the 4-4 overall score in the matches that they've had in the entire tournament, and they qualify for those playoffs, which, like you mentioned, is everything that the teams are looking for. Is everything that everyone is trying to make happen, and it's a single map, a single good play from one of your players that can enable a situation like we saw today to take place. So really good victory towards the end, a lot more competitive into the map of Ascent compared to especially the beginning. It was very much back and forth. It seems like it was warming up for Long Island to make it into almost the last map going their way. It was always so even.
Yeah, I gotta say, this series was like way more competitive than I think it seemed at first blush, right? After a 13-1 stomping on Breeze. They struck back and actually made this a pretty decent series. But I know there's still plenty more Valorant to be played. Again, we haven't even begun the playoffs here. And there's actually a little bit more to this day after this as well. I know you need to bounce, Dryad, so thank you so much for joining me. We're going to be going to a pretty quick break, but on the other end, we're actually going to be interviewing one of the players from this winning team. We'll see you then.
Choice. And could you make it a Cloud 2 wireless?
On his way, sir.
Sounds amazing.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Ain't accept and ignore, just kicking down all the doors. Guarantee you, boy, if I ask for it, it's gotta be real big. I gotta make it just for my kids and for their kids' kids. That's wealth years and years. Promise my brother soon as he out and finish this bid, we finna do it bigger than anybody ever did. The odds is real big, jobs that's real big. Satan trying a little, my God is real big. Stayed up on the ground on the cards is real big. I gotta do it big, the only way that I can live.
Hey man, I just can't find a comfortable headset. I mean, I've tried everything. Literally everything.
Sheesh, my
I got you.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
That is comfortable.
Y'all think too small, I got big dreams. You just starting, I'm way ahead at the end scenes. Started reading and dodging all of the quick schemes. Money like your Spotify, boy, I got 10 streams. And I'm still looking for more. My people, they got a soar, I'm putting that on the Lord. Ain't accepting, ignore, just kicking down all the doors. Guarantee you, boy, if I ask for it, it's gotta be real big. I gotta make it just for my kids, and for their kids, just kids. That's wealth years and years. Promise my brother soon as he out and finished his bid, we finna do it bigger than anybody ever did. The odds is real big, jobs that's real big. Satan trying a little, my God is real big. Stayed up on the grind on the cars is real big. I gotta do it big, the only way that I can live. And I promise I'm trying to. Before you count me out, homie, let me remind you. They was blocking the shine, now I think it's my time to. Counting them dollar signs like lights, they'll blind you. Let me rewind to. Back when I was broke and I couldn't acquire 2 cents, and now I got 2 rents. They was sleeping on me, homie, must have got too big. Call my phone, I be like, who this? Damn right, hell yeah, I'm brand new. Smell like can too. I'm fresh forever like canned food. Try and tell me what I can't do. I wanna see the world, my vision on Shamu. That mean I got goals that's real big, foes that's real big. Y'all offer too little, sorry, my soul is real big. Coming into the ring with blows that's real big. I gotta do it big, that's the only way I can live.
What will you like today? Another Cloud 2 classic?
I'll stick with the usual. Maybe take a little bit off the sides.
Oh, that's fresh.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Hey, watch your head.
What sound experience would you like today?
I'll have the fantasy pack.
Good choice.
And could you make it a Cloud 2 wireless?
On his way, sir.
Sounds amazing.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Ain't accepting, ignore, just kicking down all the doors. Guarantee you, boy, if I ask for it, it's gotta be real big. I gotta make it just for my kids, and for their kids, just kids. That's wealth years and years. Promise my brother soon as he out and finished his bid, we finna do it bigger than anybody ever did. The odds is real big, jobs that's real big. Satan trying a little, my God is real big. Stayed up on the grind on the cars is real big. I gotta do it big, the only way that I can live.
Hey man, I just can't find a comfortable headset. I mean, I've tried everything. Literally everything.
Sheesh, my brother. I got you.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
That is comfortable.
Y'all think too small, I got big dreams. You just starting, I'm way ahead at the end scenes. Started reading and dodging all of the quick schemes. Money like your Spotify, boy, I got 10 streams. And I'm still looking for more. My people, they got a soar, I'm putting that on the Lord. Ain't accepting, ignore, just kicking down all the doors. Guarantee you, boy, if I ask for it, it's gotta be real big. I gotta make it just for my kids, and for their kids, just kids. That's wealth years and years. Promise my brother soon as he out and finished his bid, we finna do it bigger than anybody ever did. The odds is real big, jobs that's real big. Satan trying a little, my God is real big. Stayed up on the grind on the cars is real big. I gotta do it big, the only way that I can live. And I promise I'm trying to. Before you count me out, homie, let me remind you. They was blocking the shine, now I think it's my time to. Counting them dollar signs like lights, they'll blind you. Let me rewind to. Back when I was broke and I couldn't acquire 2 cents, and now I got 2 rents. They was sleeping on me, homie, must have got too big. Call on my phone, I be like, who this? Damn right, hell yeah, I'm brand new. Smell like can too. I'm fresh forever like canned food. Try and tell me what I can't do. I wanna see the world, my vision on Shamu. That mean I got goals that's real big, foes that's real big. Y'all offer too little, sorry, my soul is real big. Coming into the ring with blows that's real big. I gotta do it big, that's the only way I can live.
What will you like today? Another Cloud 2 classic?
I'll stick with the usual. Maybe take a little bit off the sides.
Oh, that's fresh.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Hey, watch your head.
Hello, I'm here with. I'm sorry, Dryad. You look a little different. It's your hair. What's up, Dryad? How you doing? Welcome back for ECAC Week 8. My name is Ito, and I'm joined by this time Chad Lantis. And we're not alone, actually. We have other people with us, hopefully emotionally, but as well as in person. Before we go ahead and maybe reduce some. First off, Chad, how you doing? And also, Juice, how you doing?
I'll go first since you asked me order of events. I'm doing great. I got to observe that match, so I've been here the whole time, just low key. But Jews, I'll give it to you for a second.
Well, kind of tired. You know, a 2-hour long game really hits you.
Yeah, I think to say the very least, especially how it started out as well, and I think now's kind of the perfect time to ask. You know, you stomped on map number 1. It was Breeze 13-1, I think. But then heading into map number 2, I'm curious, maybe not what's changed is a question, but I guess what happened, because Split was a completely different story.
Well, for first off, in the map ban phase, they kind of banned one of our top 2 maps, being Fracture. So Fracture was already off the board, and before they take off Breeze, I wanted to get it, so we got Breeze first map. Split, it's more like we play all these unique maps that no team has ever played like well, and we do really well on it, but the basic maps like Split and Bind, we kind of have a little trouble here and there, especially with calls and making pushes. So it was a little tough on us, especially on trying to figure out a way out of certain situations, especially in like round 8 where we just continually lost trades around the board, and it was just tough on our team.
Nah, I totally understand.
Yeah.
Oh. I was going to say, I think we have basically the same conclusion. Like, it was brutal, but I kind of wanted to, I guess, from there, ask what changed heading into map number 3 then, because Ascent was a lot more even, and obviously you guys were able to come out on top, so what happened from there?
Well, so Ascent is like our 3rd pick. So once we found out that the 3rd map was Ascent, towards the end of the split, we started getting back into our mental. Like, although we were going to lose it, we didn't want to keep our spirits down. And then going into Ascent, we just popped off. We got, 2 rounds first, and then we kept it going. Some of the trades that we lost was because miscommunication. We gave up mid way too easily. And once we figured that out, it was just history from there. We ended up positive going into the next half.
Yeah. No, it was fantastic from there, and obviously you're able to close it out. It was, again, neck and neck for a while, but certainly you guys kind of obviously dragged it out in the end. Chad, I actually want to toss it over to you. Do you have any particular questions, since I know you were the one behind the camera for it all? You saw everything.
Yeah, first of all, you guys had like 2 members coming straight home or something like right off of classes, and instantly coming to the matches cold and still winning the first map 13-1 is kind of nuts. So shouts to y'all for having that positive mental that you talked about. That's actually a big deal. But yeah, it looked like for Breeze, and then also on Ascent, a lot of it looked like a lot of Solsta just kind of dominating with a lot of operator usage. It seemed like you guys recognized that Long Island didn't really have a good way of controlling, like smoke control, map control, things like that, to shut down operator. And then y'all were just really good at just working longer angles, having the freedom of space in Ascent and Breeze. Is a lot of your game plan coming down to just a lot of having the room to work with for picks and playing off of that? Is the calls basically that, or is the call something else?
Well, for Salsa, we've been playing for roughly more than a year now, almost.
Oh, wow.
And since we made it to playoffs last time with him on my original team, and since I've gotten used to him, how he plays, coming into this team, I let him do certain things like play Jet all the time. But that's because I can also build a team comp around him to where he has the open space for it. So like you said, we do play with a lot of open space. I like to keep anchors on certain sites, keep us spaced out so that we either have a chance to retake sites if it gets taken over, or we can just group up and hold a site together. Works out really well.
I like that. And I think that's actually a pretty good jumping off point as well. You mentioned playoffs last season, and I think with this win, you have all but actually confirmed a ticket into playoffs. Now, I'm not going to actually say for sure, I'm not the authority on this, but assuming you did make it to playoffs, you clinched it right here. Is there anything that's going to be changing that I guess is noteworthy, or how are you going to be heading into playoffs knowing what kind of teams you're going to be up against?
Well, judging from the last playoffs that we have, a couple teams that have made it into this season's playoffs are here again. So I have a few things for them. Might work, might not work. We just have to do a few more testing.
Let's go. Yeah. Sorry, no, I probably shouldn't have asked that. I know you're going to be bringing out, the neon comps or something. Who knows? Anything could happen. Once again, Chad, I think I'm going to ask you if you have any last questions. That way we don't keep this man here forever.
Yeah, I mean, we basically covered everything as far as just like talking about the match itself. We can dive in into the micro for forever, I'm sure. Yeah. But as far as everything at macro wise and general questions, thank you for coming on, Juice. And just want to leave the mic up to you for any closing statements to fans, viewers, friends, whoever might be out there, opponents who might be tuning in.
Well, we're completely different from last semester, I'm just saying. So you better watch out.
Awesome. I love that so much. Thank you so much, Juice. Have a great rest of your day and get some sleep. After a 3-mapper, I think you certainly deserve it. Cool. And I think that closes us out for the night as well. Thank you so much again to Juice for being able to join us on the interview desk. And hey, thank you, Chad Lantis, as well as Dryad. I know you had to bounce, Dryad, but overall, it was a really fun night. And again, I think this series it delivered a lot more than what map looked like, or map 1 looked like, excuse me. It had a lot of fun substance to it.
It was nice seeing the fire still in Long Island after losing down 13-1. It came back strong. That shows that the competitive spirit, which is what we're really here for, just seeing competitive spirit in players wanting to win no matter what. They didn't just throw away just on a bad start to the series. So also a lot of just moments of pop-off moments for a lot of players. B-Man put up an incredibly valiant effort.
Yeah.
In that last map especially was doubled their second highest kill count for the team and just was stopping everything and playing things really well. Basically like left alone to anchor on B site, and the rest of the team is figuring out elsewhere. So shouts to B-Man for sure, even though they don't get the win, at least they can feel good about the performance.
And we'll still never forget that wild 1v4 where they could have stared at a wall and still won it. It was crazy.
Sometimes less is more.
Exactly, right? He's a minimalist in his plays, and you have to appreciate that. Thank you so much again, Chad, for joining me for this interview. But I think that does us for this week 8, I believe it is, of ECAC. I believe there is going to be a short break before we return for playoffs, but I can guarantee you it's going to be more amazing games. So we'll see you on the other end. Thanks for watching.
What sound experience would you like today?
I'll have the fantasy pack.
Good choice.
And could you make it a Cloud 2 wireless?
On his way, sir.
Sounds amazing.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Ain't accept and ignore, just kicking down all the doors. Guarantee you, boy, if I ask for it, it's gotta be real big. I gotta make it just for my kids and for their kids' kids. That's wealth years and years. Promise my brother soon as he out and finished his bid, we finna do it bigger than anybody ever did. The odds is real big, jobs that's real big. Satan trying a little, my God is real big. Stayed up on the ground on the cars is real big. I gotta do it big, the only way that I can live.
Hey man, I just can't find a comfortable headset. I mean, I've tried everything. Literally everything.
Sheesh, my brother. I got you.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
That is comfortable.
Y'all think too small, I got big dreams. You just starting, I'm way ahead at the end scenes. Started reading and dodging all of the quick schemes. Money like your Spotify, boy, I got 10 streams. And I'm still looking for more. My people, they got a soar, I'm putting that on the Lord. Ain't accept and ignore, just kicking down all the doors. Guarantee you, boy, if I ask for it, it's gotta be real big. I gotta make it just for my kids and for their kids' kids. That's wealth years and years. Promise my brother soon as he out and finished his bid, we finna do it bigger than anybody ever did. The odds is real big, jobs that's real big. Satan trying a little, my God is real big. Stayed up on the ground on the cars is real big. I gotta do it big, the only way that I can live. And I promise I'm trying to. Before you count me out, homie, let me remind you. They was blocking the shine, now I think it's my time to. Counting them dollar signs like lights, they'll blind you. Let me rewind to. Back when I was broke and I couldn't acquire 2 cents. And now I got 2 rents. They was sleeping on me, homie, must have got too big. Call my phone, I be like, who this? Damn right, hell yeah, I'm brand new. Smell like can too. I'm fresh forever like canned food. Try and tell me what I can't do. I wanna see the world, my vision on Shamu. That mean I got goals that's real big, foes that's real big. Y'all offer too little, sorry, my soul is real big. Coming into the ring with blows that's real big. I gotta do it big, that's the only way I can live.
What will you like today? Another Cloud 2 classic?
I'll stick with the usual. Maybe take a little bit off the sides.
Oh, that's fresh.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Hey, watch your head. What sound experience would you like today?
I'll have the fantasy pack.
Good choice.
And could you make it a Cloud 2 wireless?
On his way, sir.
Sounds amazing.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Ain't accept and ignore, just kicking down all the doors. Guarantee you, boy, if I ask for it, it's gotta be real big. I gotta make it just for my kids and for their kids' kids. That's wealth years and years. Promise my brother soon as he out and finished his bid, we finna do it bigger than anybody ever did. The odds is real big, jobs that's real big. Satan trying a little, my God is real big. Stayed up on the ground on the cars is real big. I gotta do it big, the only way that I can live.
Hey man, I just can't find a comfortable headset. I mean, I've tried everything. Literally everything.
Sheesh, my brother. I got you.